chat. Also, looking at the clock, I'm gonna go fold my dough. I will be back, I don't know, in a minute or two. I will have to wash my hands afterwards because I will be covered in dough. BRB. And if you don't believe me, see? Bread dough. I gave context. Is there really such a thing? Cutest? I'm not gonna lie. I'm sorry to all of you space fans out there. I don't care about rockets. Most of them kind of make me mad at this point. Huh? Did you know? Bismuth. Did you know? Did you? Mm-hmm. I guess I rest my case. Ice storm today. Ooh. So you get to work from home, which means you get to catch the stream today? Well, that's cool, Dave Danger. I mean, I've already made lava cannons. What's good in the hood? I mean, I'm making a loaf of sourdough. It's sitting right now. It's vibing. It's going to be very dense, though, because I'm using rye flour. So it's going to be a very dense loaf of rye sourdough. That's why we have Kerbal Space Program. That's true. Right, dead clone. That is true. I became one of you again, Boom Boom, after I broke my foot. I broke my foot and then basically didn't leave my house for 6 weeks and got so bored that I bought a pile of flowers, so, you know. It's a 50-50 mix of, like, whole grain flour and rye flour, because the rye flour is expensive. Like, the whole wheat flour that I bought in a 15-kilogram bag, and that that flour was like $14 or something for 15 kilograms. It was like less than $1 a kilo. Whereas, granted, it was on sale. Whereas the rye flour was like almost $25 for a kilogram. So I'm diabetic. I need high fiber. I need lower carb. So also I said whole grain. Didn't say brain. Pronunciation of flower vexes you? Oh, I have been for quite some time, Grizzle. I even have one of these things in my arm. Wait, no, wrong arm. That arm. So, how would you pronounce it, then, Reinhardt? It's not a club or anything. I don't recommend anybody join it. You heard Hulk Rain? You won't like me when I'm stormy? More like in the direction of floor? Velour! No, it's flower. It's definitely flower. Sup, Frosty Noodle in YouTube chat. But yeah, I don't know how often you watch Grizzle, Dagob, but every now and again I will just randomly mention, gotta go stab myself with a needle, and then I stand up and leave for a minute and come back. No one's ever actually asked me what I mean by that. Ironically, I get more question marks when I talk about like whole grain flour and like making rye bread that I do, and I'm just like, I'm gonna go stab myself with a needle. I will be right back. No one says anything whenever I say that. Like, I'm waiting for the day that someone accuses me of being some sort of addict. It hasn't happened yet. Everyone just assumed. Yeah, they just assumed, you know, because like you maybe this says too much about what I know about heroin, but like, yeah, because you could just get up and just stab yourself with a heroin needle and come back and sit down and be good. You don't have to like find a vein or anything. I'll be honest, I don't actually know what peptides are. I mean, I know the word. Is it? Wait, what do you mean he isn't shooting? No, it's all of the steroids I take. Can't you tell? Because I'm just absolutely fucking blitzed in the gym all the time. Fahalur. Yes. Yeah, that's fair. Those are the right assumptions, to be completely frank. That or very strange sense of humor while sewing. Although, I will be honest, I do get a little bit offended when people assume I'm on, like, transition therapy. I don't know why. It does kind of actually hurt me a little bit inside. Yeah, I'm just like on an IV of Eurist. Is that what you're suggesting? You've been summoned by the cries of starving dwarves? Do you taste good? Is that why? I mean, I've got this sticker sitting on my desk right now, which I guess is also helping the cries of the starving dwarves. This is a band I saw last week, and they have all of their stickers are just fast food logos, which are pretty good. I mean, for me, it's more just like a, am I not presenting masculine enough for you? Or, you know, like there's enough shit wrong with me that I don't need to like reconfirm that I'm genetically male to you. It irks me. It's like I'm a cis man. What more do you want from me? Oh, nothing. We're just talking about me saying, like, casually, I'm gonna get up and stab myself with a needle because I'm a type 1 diabetic. Kept having mental breakdowns, so you killed him via cave-in. If you expel the parents, they'll take the kid. But if the parents are dead, you're just kind of SOL, yeah. Yeah, it's more just a state of the world, right? Where it's just like, when discussions like that come up, like if somebody assumes that, because it's happened before, especially like when I reference like, oh, I have an appointment with my endocrinologist or whatever. Like whenever those kind of discussions come up, it almost always gets icky. Because there's crappy people everywhere. That's the issue, really. And that almost always ends with somebody getting banned, and then the day just sucks for the rest of the day. Yeah. Right-handed clone and... so wait, hold on. Right-handed clone, are you left-handed? Anyway, right-handed clone in YouTube chat says, people are human, everything becomes simple when you view other people as humans and nothing else. Yeah, that's true. Which is actually one of the reasons I always push back on the NPC bullshit. Stay safe out there, Bismuth. Appreciate it, Grizzle. I don't know. I've always been the... How do I explain this? Like in high school and even as an adult, back when I had normal jobs, I was always the tiny guy who got referred to as Bud. So as the guy who's used to being kind of pushed into the corner because, you know, I weigh 145 pounds kind of deal, I've spent most of my life pushing back or fighting against that as like a fuck you kind of thing. Not even like manosphere stuff, just like... Like this predates manosphere stuff by like decades. It's primarily just a, you know, if you're the short skinny guy in the room, you're gonna get picked on. Period. Like that's just kind of how male dynamics work in a lot of social circles. And it's something that I've pushed back against my entire life. So, you know. Just to kind of tie it back around to like why it makes me sad when people assume that about me. It's because it makes me feel like I'm failing. That's all. But I digress. We all have like a line in the sand where it's like, well, I took that personally. Like, no matter how thick your skin is or how tough of a person you are or how long you've been doing something or putting yourself in a place where you can be ridiculed, there's always something that will get to you. In context to what, Flurf? I'm confused about the 30 minutes north of Minneapolis. Like, what? I mean, it's kind of funny because, like, my dad got the same thing, Grizzled the Gob, because my dad was always, like, the guy who never weighed more than 150 pounds and was always in really good shape but never really built muscle. Was always, like, was always tall but not the tallest. And that's how you just get, like, the shit kicked out of you your entire life. Oh, because of your voice, gotcha. I get you. Yeah, see, the thing is, like, short kings kind of have had I don't want to say a resurgence, because they definitely got picked on a lot when I was in high school, but, like, the short dudes, I don't want to say have advantages, but, like, when you're in extreme, you can own it. When you're stuck in the middle, you don't fit anywhere, if that makes sense. Like, if you're a man who's like 5'3", you can own it. Like, that can be like the key point of your personality. I'm just the skinny tall guy. You know? Like, I'm just the guy that everybody can beat up. Basically what I'm trying to say is I spent way too much time in sports, and that was 6 years of my life where I didn't get along with anybody. I had no friends. I played a lot of games on my Game Boy and DS, and whenever we went to training camp, I would get ridiculed, tortured, beaten up, fucking locked in lockers. Not literally, but you know what I mean. So I will just say that the short guys did fucking fine. Because, like, those guys could deadlift me. Yeah, I mean, me in high school, I was, like, by the end of high school, I was 5'8" and 120 pounds. Yeah, that's about right. These days, like, you know, I'm 6 feet tall and 145 pounds, and I don't know about now, since my foot's been broken, but I can still sit on my bicycle and pedal for 40 kilometers and then pedal back. Like, I'm in good shape, but I don't get any of the aesthetic benefits, I guess, because, like, I just never build muscle. I mean, maybe if I, like, went on a ridiculous diet and just, like, fucking went to the gym 5 days a week, maybe, but...
Almost a year.
I mean, you know, hey. Run with it if you got it, Flurf. It has been almost a year, Necrontier. Has it really been that long? The first one that started the bullying was the teacher you had for 5 years. That sucks, dude. I will say, you know, in YouTube chat, I see being 6 foot tall or higher just hurts. It's better to be slightly shorter. I won't disagree with that, but I will say that I've had back problems most of my life because I had a pretty bad injury when I was in sports, and then I got hit by a car, which didn't help. And then, as an adult, screwed up my back again through my job, but all of that's besides the point. The worst back pain I ever had was from the age 14 to 16 when I grew a 1.5 feet in, like, 3-month spurts. Your squads have a secret tunnel leading into the visitor tavern so that you can kill visitors suspected of being villains. Well, with little chance of escape. Jeez. Good luck. I had a friend growing up named Clay Lake, and he went from being about 4 feet tall, like in elementary school, to being 7'1" in about 8 months. And I remember when that kid was... I was 3 years older than him. So he was 12 and I was 15. And I remember not seeing him for all winter one year, and then seeing him and being like, hey, whoa. Because his mom was like 6'5" and his dad was like 6'5", and his cousin was like in the 7s. You're told the worst part of being 6'4" is the ceiling? Yeah, no, I believe that. Like door frames. Like the world isn't built for you. It's like if you're too short, the world isn't built for you because everything's inconvenient and high up. But if you're too tall, then everything's isn't built for you because you're too tall. It's like, yeah. I have a question. Are your squads at least getting some outdoor area so that they don't, what's the word? So that they don't get cave adapted? As long as, like, they do have some access to light, right? I had this one kid who was 5'4" when he was in grade 1, and he never grew past that height. Yeah, that was my friend Ash growing up. My friend Ash was, like, huge when we were young, but by high school, like, I was, like, this much taller than him, and he never grew beyond that point. But he was also, like, a brick. Like, dude was solid. Like, it didn't matter how much taller than I was. He'd just crack his knuckles and be like, I'll win. Which is kind of why I say that short guys have an advantage. Because, like, yeah, you will. I know you will. Because he would just, like, run up to you, just, like, elbow you in the stomach, put his foot on your foot, and push. And then, yeah, you're done. Your ankle's broken, and you're on the ground. Her brother was 6'7", and he was afraid he'd be decapitated by the ceiling fan of the old apartment. I lived in an apartment that had 7.5-foot ceilings, so yeah, I believe it. I absolutely believe it. No, absolutely. You know, it's the short guy fighter. Dwarves killed the Goblin Master. You're the second person to type that in today. Is why dwarfs so deadly? Yeah. Also, martial trances are the biggest advantage. Check a few things. Okay, that's running, that's running, that's running. Sweet, you're going to door there. The death probably caused political instability over at the Goblin Civ. Yeah, if you check in civilizations, they probably already have a new successor to that individual if you look them up. You'll notice more of that in adventure mode. If you go around in adventure mode after a leader of a faction dies, it's really interesting because they always are nattering on and chatting about how there's instability and how there's 15 different factions vying for control, which basically just means there's different people who are trying to take the rank that just opened up and stuff, which I think that stuff's really interesting. Like, because the game in some way, even if it's not necessarily acting on it in like explosive ways, is processing all of these things are different now, and there's all these new players that can now participate, and this is how things can change. And in the long run, like, there's a lot of different neat, interesting things that can happen. So I put up a short a little bit ago where I said that just me talking about AI and why I'm trying to put my face in my videos more, just to make it clear that I am me and I am the person making the video. That isn't to say that, like, my face is going to be filling up every single video all the time. Absolutely not. But trying to do that more. There's this person who just left a comment on that short saying, "This is what an AI would say. Good try, Canadian bot trying to look like a human." April Fools. I don't know why I find that funny, but I do. What particularly impressed you about Legends? developer. So, who here saw Tarn's post from yesterday? But followed in his dad's footsteps? How so? As far as following in his dad's footsteps. Stomped on by an elephant, yes. Yeah, no, the elves have elephants, which is making the wars difficult. I'm not gonna lie. Well, that's good you have allies, Bismuth. Okay, so I will reread this because I got a response from Tarn. Basically, what I asked Tarn was, hey, is this stuff that's coming in the next patch? Or is this you talking about what you're working on for a future patch and then confirming that we're going to get a patch this month that's unrelated? And he said that's what's happening. That this stuff up here is stuff that he's working on for a future patch sometime this year. And then this is going to be a bug fixing quality of life patch that he's working on. But if you missed it, what he said was, since the last patch, things have been afoot in Magicville. I spent some time on magical populations of people and the infrastructure we need for that. For instance, a world can have an earlier civilization where everybody has links to one of the procedurally generated magic forces and use effects more freely than lab-using wizards of the fort mode era. That sort of thing is now in with the relevant objects generated by Lua, but available in the regular interaction. Meaning, you will be able to mod how magic is generated and what properties magic can have, and what it looks like, and what you need to do to access it. That's what that means. So there was somebody in the comments, because I posted this just a screenshot of this post on my YouTube channel, who said that they're not looking forward to magic. And I said, well, that's okay, because you should still be really excited for this specifically, because, I don't know, do you want a gunsmith? Find lead, add wood, magic bullet shooter. Change wizard to gunsmith. Congrats. Stuff like that, you know? Like, that's going to be a very exciting mod. Like, that quietly is maybe the most exciting thing here. Then down here, the next chunk of time spent working on the labs, since Jacob provided over 300 images of lab bits, and the game can now construct images of workshops supporting a variety of different vibes, from botany to rune carving to orbs to mirrors to necromancy to brewing to and alchemy to scrolls and books. This, to me, reads that necromancy is getting changes and or upgrades alongside of this. We've kept them to the standard 3x3 sides and made it all manageable, and at the same time animations for mechanisms on electricity and candle flames, etc. It's pretty wholesome. So this is like, I don't know if this means that you're going to have multiple different workshops per fort, or if this means that, like, your wizard will just make a workshop that's unique to its wizard powers. And then he states he's going to be working on a mid-April-ish quality of life / bug fixing patch. And then he did add on a little bit on top of that, which is up here. Why is my encoding overloaded? Okay, hold on. I'm so irritated with this. Because, like, I go back over to the game and then the encoding stops overloading. I'm going to see if I can fix this. Because there's something fucked up here. I don't know what it is. It's definitely OBS that's doing it. Let's see if that still does it. And then then it immediately, it breaks when I close the game, or when I tab out of the game. Like, I don't know why it does that. I don't know. if I set it to that? I'm no longer on hardware. Yeah, it said it. Okay, I turned off hardware encoding and it immediately overloaded. It's like, yeah, now it immediately does it again. I don't know. It's weird. I don't like that it does that. Anyway, maybe what I need to do is I just need to capture a separate window. That is my web browser. Maybe that's what I need to do. Because I don't like not using hardware encoding. I don't know. Anyway, Tarn then posted on Bay 12 where he said that things are going well over here as stated in the recent dev blog. I don't know what it is, because this didn't happen like 3 months ago. It's something with the current version of OBS just overloads my encoder constantly, and it's driving me bonkers. Like, I don't have this set to high quality right now. It's driving me insane, chat. If the stream goes down, I'm quitting for the day, Diamond, so don't you fucking dare. Twip, thank you very much for the 21st month. I haven't even made $20 today, so. Don't you fucking bring in the will of the stream ending early. Because I'll take this show down with me. Thank you, Anvil, for the 5 gift pack. Appreciate you. I'm literally trying everything, Stasila. Asking me like what settings I'm using is you need to remember I've been using OBS. Sorry, this makes me sound fucking like self-absorbed as hell. I've been using OBS for 12 and a half years. I've never seen this before. I tried setting it to the lowest possible settings on software encoding, which should not overload anything. But I swapped to desktop capture to show my web browser, and it fails to encode correctly. This ain't the problem with my CPU. This ain't the problem on my graphics card, because regardless of what settings I'm using, it ain't using 5% of my capacity. Do I have a driver update? Yes, everything is up to date. Okay? I don't appreciate the dumb questions. The dumb questions just expose my frustration. Please allow me to consume my frustration instead of vomiting it out. If anything, I'd be willing to bet you $1 an update is what's causing this. That's the thing. I don't want help. I want it to stop. If I wanted help, I would ask for help. Eric, thanks for the $1. Frogfire, thanks for the 61st month. And Anvil, thanks for the 5-pack. Like, are you gonna... I'm literally showing a essentially Firefox. Like, what? Have I turned down the settings enough for you yet? Blah! I don't even know what that is or where it came from, because I don't have a notification set up for here. I don't see those, basically, so. Because nobody ever does it. And then when somebody does do it, I go, oh, I have to sign into a website and open up another tab. Yeah, it's still failing to encode. I'm so fucking angry. In the world of live streaming, you don't turn it off and on, you turn it off and then don't turn it back on until the next day. Like, that's how that works, mate. There is no such thing as good vibes, Orange. The vibes have been dead for a long time. Thanks for the 5-pack, Devilish. It's very kind of you. Nobody's attacking. Wait, what? Are you talking about elves attacking? I was like, hold on. What do you mean by people are attacking? I assume you're talking about Dwarf Horde. Move that over there. Close that. I don't know, folks. Like, it ain't my CPU. This is currently using about 13% of it. OBS specifically is taking up 3.1% of it. It's running at 45 degrees Celsius. It's practically idling. I tried turning off chat off and on again. That wouldn't really do anything, though. The thing is, while I'm streaming games and just capturing game footage, it's fine. It's totally fine. But tabbing out of the game makes everything overload. And that isn't fine. The debug hype train? I'm not doing any actual debugging because none of my debugging worked. I went through everything that I can do while live without, like, literally turning my computer off. And nothing fixed, everything broke it. So, I literally can't do live debugging because debugging OBS requires restarting OBS. I'm not even using, like, I just closed BTOP, but it wasn't using more than a couple gigs of RAM, so. I basically, I don't need third-party tech support. I'll put it that way. Like, I know what I need to do. I probably need to move to Debian Trixie, because that's what OBS is supporting now. And Mint is still behind, and I haven't bothered updating yet. I need to back up my computer and swap OSs is what I need to do. But I'm live streaming, and I can't really do that. But no, I actually recently I recently ran a RAN test. I ran a RAM test recently. It's almost a tongue twister. Because I was worried that something else that was similar to this was being caused by my RAM, and it was fine. Like, I ran 6 cycles, I let it run for like 7 hours, and it was totally fine, 0 issues. So it's not my RAM. And that was like less than a month ago. It's like a couple weeks ago. The full screen applications. There's one other thing I can try. He says as he closes door for it. I'm gonna nuke Proton. No, I'm just running into some mild technical difficulties and it's making me want to tear my hair out, and I have a lot of it, so that would take a while. No, it's fine. Well, it still does this. That's good to know. That's funny. To move my coffee because it's blocking the bottom of the monitor, and it's still happening. So like maybe that's probably not it then, eh? It's probably not it then, eh? It's probably not it then. Now I'm running on Linux native. And encoding overloaded. Still. What part of I'm not looking for third-party tech support do you not understand? But yes, I am using Linux. Thank you. I clearly have inferred repeatedly that I don't really think that you can help. Because I kind of know what I need to do. Because I'm pretty sure what's causing the problem. I am on Linux, yes. I am on a Debian derivative distro, which intentionally stays behind because if it updates to the most recent versions of things, then some stuff breaks. So for stability reasons, it intentionally stays behind. However, I think OBS no longer supports parts of it, which is causing problems. More or less, as far as I understand it, from my research on this, because I wanted to try and fix this last weekend, but that didn't happen. And the weekend before, I was just editing all weekend. But what ended up happening was, now I'm in an ad break, so half people can't hear me talking. Yeah, they're mining through it with the pickaxe. I mean, Windows just breaks arbitrarily. Linux, you have to, like, do a little bit of maintenance and upkeep to keep it from breaking. Just give you the credit card and the funny numbers in the back. Joke's on you, my credit card's insured. I will just cancel my credit card after giving you the number. Apologies for the salt, chat. I will refrain from tabbing out for the remainder of the stream. But my god, that is frustrating. Wait, DoorDash has fans? Bismuth? I'm also just gonna swap back to Proton.
For everyone!
Because there's some UI elements that don't work perfectly in Linux. And again, that's something that I know how to fix. I just haven't because lazy. So instead, I use Proton, and then I don't run into those issues.
Primeval's up, you fuck.
So let me just update to Proton again. Yeah, I appreciate that, DGF in YouTube chat. It's like, I understand that everybody's trying to help, but it's like, it's almost impossible to confirm to everybody simultaneously that I've tried the thing that you just suggested and it didn't work without getting frustrated. Or alternatively, I can't try it without ending the stream, which is what I'm trying really hard not to do in most cases. That dares to attack. I like to try and let the kobolds steal stuff because they're so bad at it. Like, I've legitimately seen a kobold get into a duel with a dog and lose, so I try to let them steal stuff if they actually attack me. It's like, well, you're trying so hard. Might as well let them have that one, you know? Now that I haven't tried. Okay, you got me. Although, considering how rapidly my body is deteriorating, I'm probably the sacrifice at this point. Well, I wouldn't do it on live stream. You do that before the stream. And once you're done putting the entirety of the body in the wood chipper, then you turn the stream on. That's why I'm freshly showered, after all. That dog be built different? True, it's an English Mastiff. Although the idea of a kobold losing to a Maltese is pretty funny. The elves? Nah. They're all made of wood. Armok no care about wood. Armok want blood. Speaking of blood, welcome back to Violent Hunger. Thank you very much for the Hype Train chat. Devilish, thanks for the 5-pack. And Eric, thanks for the $1. Frog for Hire, thanks for the 61st subscription month. And Anvil, thank you very much for the 5-pack. No, 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 no! 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 You know, I saw a black lab to lose to a Maltese, which is pretty close to that. All right, so this is the fortress right now. It is a evil volcano fortress, quote unquote. I think it's pretty dope. It's not the safest, but considering like anybody working in this is like at risk of getting hit by falling volcanic sacrifices constantly. Maybe I should actually fix that. That's a little bit risky even for me. But this is the fort. The beep, we've had the beep for a while. Like, just ask Devilish Potato about his favorite toy. But this is my fort. The upper wall area is almost complete. There's a few spots that need some additions. A little bit beneath that, we've got this. This is my 6-barrel fully automatic minecart lava launcher. It launches lava. Let's forget about the OBS gods and stop bringing it up because it's just going to keep me salty. I need to get past it and ignore it, and I need the problem to go away if you keep reminding me of it. The salt isn't going to go down. So if you want the salt to go down, let's just move on. I actually can't sacrifice the animals because all the animals that I have in the fort now are all injured. I used them as target practice for the lava launcher, but unfortunately, they're all pets. So because they're all pets, I can't actually kill them. You can only kill animals that are not pets. So I'm quite saddened by that, but it is what it is. Along the edges of this, I need to put in grates so that I don't block all of the entrances into the lava. And we're trying to dig out chunks of this to kind of flatten out the entryway just a little bit. But that currently is the front door to the fort. We're also slowly lowering and flattening this front wall off here. And that's it. Right up here, I'm in the process of building some of these, which I don't know if they've actually made the catapult parts yet, but I should place them to find out. The catapults are, yeah, well, they're just going to kind of go like that, and then maybe I'll put some bolt throwers right there. And that's going to be the setup for the minute. Why the random cabinet? I don't know, because we've been stealing stuff from... So I'm constantly sieging stuff, and when they go out on missions and siege stuff, they get spoils reports. So I've got I'm getting tributes from some people. So this is a tribute from the Band of Saviors for the year of Spring 231. And this is a spoils report. So was it included in that? Yeah, there it is right there, the cabinet. So I guess a soldier was walking back into the fort to put that cabinet into the fortress and then was like, oh, I'm being sent out on another mission, or, oh, I got a different job. Anyways, and drops the cabinet. That's why the random cabinet. That's maybe the most detailed description of why there's a random cabinet there that you could possibly have. So I hope that was sufficient. Yeah, cave in? No. I'm not going to bother caving in stuff on those animals. They can just live there until something kills them inevitably. They will die, and they will suffer. I'm not going to do any cave-ins. As for this, this functions by the minecarts going down here really quickly, slamming against this and firing the lava out, and then they fall down through this, and then they are powered up all of these ramps all the way up into here, and then they do a little loopity-loopity, and then they go uppity-uppity here, and then back around to the top, and then they push the buttons that they're currently sitting on, and then go back down, and then drop themselves into lava again, and the cycle repeats. Kobolds can only make percussion instruments, so they're all drums. They're all drums. So that's it. That's the kind of the outside of the fort. Since everybody's actually in the fort right now and not attacking anything, I can read who's in the fort. We've got Diamond Kalilov Shinobi. We've got Link the Sky Spear. We've got Loki. We've got Corey Fancy Pantsy. Laya. I think the naming should be open. I don't think I've seen anybody claim it. I don't think I disabled it either. No, so it should be open. Yuppers. We've got Cannonball. We've got Flurf, McMurph. Gazoom used the command that I was about to remind people exist because nobody uses it. If you are a Tier 2 subscriber or subscribed to the recommended tier of my blog and have access to the sound commands, you also have access to !Dwarf, which lets you skip the line. We've got Jagged Venom Drinker. We've got Crub the Grub, who is the Duke of Luck Diamonds and is pissed. I need to look into that. We've got Waze. We've got Ray Matildrum. We've got Founder. We've got Stormwolf. We've got Wispy. And we've got a bunch of Hammerlords, actually. So I'm not going to take much mercy on depressed dwarves in this fort. I'm kind of planning on just either putting them into a squad and dropping them into the volcano or making them go and take over stuff. I haven't decided yet. Depends on like how annoyed I am with them. We've got Jesus in the military, who's won quite a few fights himself. We got Pothead, who hangs out with Jesus, obviously, and he sees him in his dreams. Then we got Montecore, and that's everybody. Man, a bunch of the kids grew up. Like a good few of these were little kids not too long ago. So that is the fort currently. I do need to make some extra squads. All of our food, seeds, drink, meat, fish, etc., is coming from trading. Would you like a bearded or unbearded dwarf, Gazoom? And fancy go Fago Satosis. Your name always makes me forget that that's one large word mostly. Do you would like beard or no beard? No care matter? Okay. Easy peas. Z. But I'm just waiting on Gazoom. Doesn't matter. Okay, well it does matter because you wanted a spear dwarf, but thankfully I do have a few spearses. That one's not super pissed. I'm just looking for one that like doesn't hate their life at the minute. How about like this one, because you're pretty happy. You do want to play Tavus though. Gazoom! I don't know if you approve. If you don't approve of that capitalization, let me know. He is not a private person and freely shares. Your last name is Alley Painted, so like a graffiti alley. Alley Painted. You can find yourself in Legends probably. He is not a private person and he freely shares details of his life. He is grounded in reality and is brave in the face of imminent danger. He is assertive and he likes to keep things practical. He likes to keep things practical without delving too deeply into the abstract. He often feels discouraged and doesn't mind wearing something special now and again. And he tends to be a bit stubborn in changing his mind about things, and he does not often feel lustful. And he finds helping others emotionally rewarding. He often feels envious of others, and he can sometimes act without deliberation. He tends to make a small mess with his own possessions, and he likes to brawl. He needs alcohol to get through the working day and doesn't really care about anything anymore. My opinion is that it is a mod that I'm not using in my game. I don't really care otherwise. I wish people would stop caring and asking. Or asking for an opinion, because I don't really have one. I never read Pratchett, so. I'm getting asked about Lady Dwarf and beards once again. They've never had beards in Dwarf Fortress, so it's never been in my headcanon. He personally does not respect the law and does not particularly care about craftsdwarfship. He likes orthic lace and pig iron and pineapple opal in the color ochre, as well as beds and olms for their gills and the words of the Satyrine of Intricacy and the sound of the tressed berry, and when possible, he prefers to consume bloated tubers, carrot wine, and white millet flour, and absolutely hates bark scorpions. I maintain the scariest siege I ever got attacked by, Bismuth, was this was shortly after they added the Necromancer experiments. And there was a Necromancer that attacked me with a bunch of elves and a bunch of mounts. And their mounts were undead ravens. And the ravens flew to the top of the map into the undead giant ravens. Flew into the volcano that bordered my fortress. And my fortress was about 3 to 4 Z levels beneath the surface of the volcano. And I was using the volcano as lava forges. And I had piped it into my fortress. And it flew down they flew into the volcano and came out of my lava forges on fire. It's one of the scariest sieges I've ever witnessed. Anyway, he likes orthic lace, pig iron, and pineapple opal in the color ochre, as well as beds, olms for their gills, and the words of the Satyrine of Intricacy and the sound of the tressed berry. When possible, prefers to consume ibex, bloated tubers, and carrot wine, and white mullet flour, and absolutely hates bark scorpions. You're a member of the Steamy Gloves, and you have no kills. And you're delighted upon improving fighting. You want to admire art. Welcome to the fort. You do have some friends, and one of them died, and the other one is in the military. And I actually want to check something real quick. Okay, Founder is still alive. I was worried for a second there. Although you earn the nourishment of handles. I'm actually going to take you out of the military because I want this dwarf to focus on other things. So I'll put somebody else into that squad. How do you keep track of all the dwarves in a bigger population? You don't. You feel like, don't. You need to remember that Dwarf Fortress is yes, it is a game about managing dwarves. But a lot of the dwarves are not main characters. You know, in Lord of the Rings, you know about a lot of main characters. But you don't know everybody. You know, there's tons of characters in Lord of the Rings that are not a going concern to the plot. And Dwarf Fortress is like that. If a character is not critical to the plot, you don't need to worry about them. Are they upset? Oh well. This is a game about overwhelming the player that intentionally puts you in positions where you can't manage everything. So my encoder is overloaded again. Today's going to be a low-quality stream. If anybody complains, I might break something. Okay, I have to name Fago. You will get the happiest unnamed dwarf. You and me both, Wispy. You and me both. She rarely feels discouraged and takes offered help and gifts without feeling particularly grateful. She tends to be swayed by the emotions of others and prefers that everyone lives as harmoniously as possible. She is not inherently proud of her talents and accomplishments, and she's not inherently proud of her talents and accomplishments, and she tends to be a little tight with resources when working on projects. She often is cheerful, and she is curious and eager to learn, and she occasionally overindulges and prefers to present herself modestly. She needs alcohol to get through the working day and doesn't really care about anything anymore. I think today's going to be a short stream chat, and I'm going to OS hop tonight. I think that's the plan. Or at the very least, back up everything and prepare to OS hop. She personally respects development of a skill and values sacrifice and dreams of creating a great work of art. And likes bismuth and bismuth night and bismuth and clear zircon goats for their eating habits and large roaches. Likes large roaches. Okay, for their ability to disgust. Ah, great. So you're a troll. The words of the paddle of sprays and the sound of the songs of glossing, and when possible, prefers to consume potato wine and walnuts, and absolutely hates mosquitoes. What's the word? I had a word I wanted to say out loud, but before I opened up this dwarf, and now it's gone. Oh well, it'll come back. If it was important, it'll come back. You worship Urith, the god of death. You've killed one tiger. In regards to following dwarves, you don't follow every dwarf. Most dwarves will just kind of get an approximate job, and as long as they're mostly satisfied and have a bedroom and a place to socialize, they'll be okay. Do not try to keep track of every dwarf in your fort. This is not that game. Try to keep very close track of dwarves that you care about. The key is to figure out what dwarves you care about, why you care about them, and how much you care about them. Beyond that, don't worry about it. If you try to worry about it, you will drive yourself crazy. That's my advice to you. I don't manage every dwarf in the fort. I name a lot of dwarves. I don't remember 90% of them. I'll be honest. I remember a few dwarves. I'm pretty well acquainted with this mayor. I'm pretty well acquainted with my militia commanders usually. I tend to follow my nobles and what they need. I tend to keep track of my captain of the guard as an example. But I do not actively follow or pay attention or worry about large portions of the fort because it's just not relevant. You're not going to be benefited by trying to manage and satisfy and consistently take care of every single dwarf in the fort. You will just slowly drive yourself nuts. Which is why I will often tell people that this isn't a game about micromanaging, and if you try and play it like that, you will have a hard time. Genuinely. Like, that I can't. I cannot tell you how you should treat your kids, so I shouldn't talk about how you treat your dwarves. But what I will say is that you need to remember that this game intentionally throws curveballs at you, and this game will intentionally make your life difficult. And there are lots of people fighting in every battle in a big movie, but you only know the main characters, and you only need to know the main characters because nobody else matters. Like, yes, Dwarf Fortress is a management game, but it's also kind of Lemmings in a lot of ways. A lot of dwarves need to be treated as cannon fodder, and you'll enjoy the game more if you do it that way. My Baron needs a tomb, and I think that this would be fitting. By that I mean my Duke needs a tomb. My Duke is Crub the Grub. Scrub the grub. Lesson lances. So when you say take care of all dwarves and manage all dwarves, I don't. I never will, I never have, and I don't intend to in the future. But you can absolutely keep track of enough dwarves to enjoy the game without much issue. And that's all that you need to do. Just take care of enough dwarves that you can enjoy the game. Yeah, I mean, that's a very different kind of fortress. But if the fort population is low enough that you can manage and take care of and keep track of every dwarf, like Devilish Potato also mentions, then like you wouldn't be asking that question, right? Like clearly that's a question that arises when somebody's like overwhelmed due to the number of dwarves in a fort and not because like, you know, they're restricting the population intentionally. I do think the game plays better if you have a medium to large population versus a smaller population in the fort. Like I honestly believe that this game is more enjoyable that way. Like I think it's more fun to play when you have a larger fort, but that isn't to say that bigger population forts is the only way to play this game. In fact, far from it. Caramelizing onions and carrots for sauce and trying to fix it. I mean, Dwarf Fortress can be that game. Something that I know some people do is some people will number dwarves and then like keep a spreadsheet of all of their dwarves, and that's cool. I think that like running something like Legends Viewer with a recent-ish Sorry, OBS is failing to encode. Once again. That would be really funny if you played RimWorld like it's Dwarf Fortress, and you played Dwarf Fortress like it's RimWorld. It's failing to encode on the lowest possible settings I can enable while live. Like, I have no words. Like, unless I turn the bitrate down to like a fucking 1,000 or some shit. I wonder, let me try something else. I'm gonna go back to what I was on before. The normal settings that I'm used to using. And window mode Dwarf Fort. Nope. that doesn't seem to help. Still failing to encode. Folks, I'm out of ideas. I'm out of ideas. Let me try something else. Let's throw in a Hail Mary. Like, it's not my camera, is it? I will just state right now, Diamond, there is no such thing as stream safeguard with Twitch. There is no such thing because YouTube doesn't. All right. Encoding seems to have fixed itself, and I was having a think. I am going to see what happens. If it fails to encode one more time, I'm ending stream, and I will diagnose this off stream. Because this isn't a good experience for you, and it's such a fucking horrendous experience for me that I'm not going to be in a good mood for the entirety of today if this keeps up. So I apologize for everything. I'm very sorry. This is unfortunate, but I'm not happy right now. I will pause the game though until the ads are done. What's up, X-Zoned? Yeah, sometimes it takes them a good, 3 to 4 weeks in game for them to stand back up, Bismuth. Unless, you see water cancellations, if you see dwarves looking for empty buckets, then just, make sure that you have a well. But aside from that, or make sure that you have accessible empty buckets. Aside from that, there isn't too much you can do. I'm not leaving Frog for Hire. I don't need you to wish me the best. There ain't fucking nothing good about this. So there's nothing to wish. This is fucking stupid. Wishing me the best? My fucking god, I don't need the best. I need the basics. Also, I'm gonna reiterate this. It's not the computer. It's OBS. For fucking Christ's sake, man. Jesus ain't here right now, I can say that. Vein this name in blah. Smashing stuff is a possible outcome? No, I mean, if it fails to encode one more time, I'm turning the stream off and fixing it. I won't be smashing anything. I will be fixing it, though. I need to build a Doctor's Guild, and currently I'm making the tomb for my Duke, because that's the one thing I haven't made for him yet. And he's going to get a tomb surrounded by billowing industry and fiery minecarts, and I'm sure he'll approve. It's like putting your tomb in the boiler room. All right, well, for now, let's just cross our fingers and hope for the best, and don't worry about it. And hopefully me just making the stream look all crinkly will fix it, at least for today. And if anybody complains, I don't know. I'm sorry, there's nothing I can do. That's all I got.
You fucking donkey!
OSHA, we don't have that in Canada. I don't need their approval. Just like I don't need the approval of the FBI. 'Cause we don't have that in Canada. We have WorkSafe here? I don't like playing the game in windowed mode. Let's see if me turning all of the settings down even more so. We'll keep the game still playable. I have to move my monitor if I keep playing in windowed mode because things are going to be too small. Wait, is in like WorkSafe BC? Like the Canadian one? Ones? As in like they show WorkSafe videos at American job sites? Huh. I feel like they should sue you for their intellectual property. I'm just saying, like that seems like some sort of misrepresentation of something, or like misuse of some illicit DVDs. They probably also got them on Pirate Bay. Uh-oh. Badly crushed? Oh. Well, I guess it was bound to happen. Dwarf was found dead, badly crushed. Is somebody going to come tomb that? Or are you just getting hauled? I think they'll get put in a tomb. That's unfortunate. The elves probably did it. They booby-trapped it the last time they were here. I saw them do it myself. Twice, in fact. A bearded peasant? Yeah, because the one woodcutter just died. I could find you a woodcutter, if you like. I can't guarantee you won't get booby-trapped by a tree. I mean, there's a wood axe peasant. Hello, Tibbe. How are you? Oh, you're not a woodcutter anymore? Well, you get this one because you said bearded peasant. This bearded peasant always presents himself as extravagantly as possible. But here, since you're not a woodcutter anymore, I'll take that away. I'll give you a pickaxe. He always presents himself as extravagantly as possible and displaying a magnificent image to the world. He cuts corners. He cuts any corners possible when working on a project, regardless of the consequences, rather than wasting effort on resources. He is very impolite and inconsiderate of property and does not trust others. He likes to brawl and he tends to be swayed by emotional appeals. Someone's knocking my door. Hold up.
See how he bites off the shell to get at the nut?
You are correct. I was still muted. I did go to click the button, but I must have missed it. Lol. You know, it doesn't matter how many years you do this for a living. Like, you still do that. Like, I remember rating a stream once, and the stream was muted. And they had, like, 11 viewers or something. And this person doesn't use a camera, so it was just, like, silence for a little bit. And we rated in. And we just kind of sat there for a minute.
44 cheered.
Thanks for $2.
200. Oh, hey bits.
So
Crypt
$2.
Bongo.
$2? Gazoom. We raided in, and there was nobody there talking, really. And it was just like silence. And then after a little bit, somebody, like one of his mods popped in and goes, muted? Question mark? And then he immediately started talking. It was very funny. And he's like, maybe one day I won't do this anymore. It's like, nope, there will always be times. He is not inherently proud of his talents and accomplishments, and it tends to assume that the worst of two outcomes will be the one that comes to pass, and he's not particularly interested in what others think of him. He often feels discouraged and can handle stress. He needs alcohol to get through the working day. He dreams of crafting a masterwork someday and personally respects perseverance and introspection, and finds introspection to be a waste of time. He likes microcline and lead and yellow sespertine and the color beige, maces and the sound of the vermilion rhymes, and when possible prefers to consume ratweed and sorghum beer and absolutely hates blood gnats. I had to let the fire inspection in. I thought that was supposed to be tomorrow, and in this building, you have to, like, people who volunteer to help with the building sometimes have to volunteer to let people in or complete tasks around the building. And I thought it was tomorrow. I thought it was tomorrow. But it was today. It's a good thing I heard the door. I wasn't really listening for it, so. All right. You do actually have quite the family, including your younger brother, Burr, who is no longer alive, so you could go look that up. Burr could, assuming Burr's still here, so Burr could maybe tell you some details there, but yeah, you are a member of the Communion of Gods and the Snarling Cult. Ooh, you're multi-denominational. Both, of course, worship, I think one of them worships the fish god, the other one worships Canis, but the Yurith, the god of death. So you're some member of the Burr fam. Found the only sewer brew enjoyer? They're a strange bunch, that. You know, I bet you that sewer brew enjoyers would get along really, really well with Malort enjoyers. Do you agree, chat? We're going to go back to I was trying to fight with the elves, but I think murdering the goblins is smarter because they have smaller armies, and it turns out it turns out that winning fights against elephants is difficult. So most of the dwarves here are actually putting logs into stockpiles. We're just carrying logs up. That's primarily all that we were doing. I need to make this doctor's guild, and that's where we're at with the fort, assuming this is almost done, which we're getting to quickly. So yeah, sorry about that. I was actually expecting that. I was just expecting it tomorrow. I don't know how I got the day wrong, but... I was like... I assumed I was like... Either I got... Like, when the door got knocked on, I assumed I either had the day wrong, which was true, or if it wasn't me having the day wrong, that it would be... like a package that I'm waiting for, because some of you might know that some of you already have it actually, the adventure mode soundtrack, the record shipped, and so I'm waiting on a copy of that to show up. So I was kind of hoping it was that. I was kind of hoping it was that, but unfortunately it is not, or it was not. Big disappointment, to be honest, because apparently they've put some other soundtracks in there. So for those of you who don't know, and if you already have it, the inside of it is Fortress Head Punch, which was a fort that we built on stream. Was it like midway through last year? It was like summer last year, I think. And Fortress Head Punch was a gorgeous fort, especially by the end of it. We invaded hell and did all kinds of fun stuff in that fort. So, like, Kid Fox reached out to me, I don't know, maybe a year ago now, and was like, hey, a little less than a year ago, maybe like 10 months ago, and was like, hey, we need some art for the upcoming soundtrack release. And I was like, yeah, I can help with that. So that's fun. A vile darkness of forces has arrived. Thankfully, they are on the opposite side of where most of my dwarves are. Beware their mounted goblin swordsmen. They are led by the blind cave ogre Zoku, not affiliated with the Fire Legion, I'm sure. Beware their mounted goblin swordsmen. Okay. Well, the good news is, look at all of that loot that can be melted down into gear. Scorn loved. The problem is, most of my soldiers just left the map. Okay, so what I need to do... Okay, so that's just right there for right now. I'm going to expand this a little bit. Because this whole thing is set up and, like, mostly good to go. The issue is, while it's set up and mostly good to go, I still need to run the fucking thing. And right now, this is going to... Oh, no, this will actually be fine, as is. But let's see if I can get this finished. You right here, we're going to enable that. And turn that on. And I'm going to go through and hit pause job on literally everything. So clicking on this little person icon doesn't cancel the job. It simply removes that dwarf from the job. So sometimes it's a lot of clicking, but trust me, it's worth it. So if they can't access it, they will just simply find something that's within the burrow or cease trying to complete that task. And in some cases, just take a nap. So all the dwarves are going to run inside as quickly as possible. Probably largely carrying logs. And I'm just going to wait for a little bit. Are the cannons ready? Oh yeah, the cannons are ready. And the goblins are sieging. And I'm going to solve this Doctor's Guild because I don't want to upset my doctors. as is custom, they can have a guild that is the same as everybody else's guild. Except for the Farmers Guild, because we don't do that here. All right, chat, I need a big Vile Force of Darkness. That sounds like a valuable reward for your glorious dwarves. There goes a goblin. Okay, well. So this is what I need to pull, which is going to open up that bridge. And they are running way faster than I thought they would. So they are already piling up here. So I'm going to send all of my soldiers right here. Thankfully, they don't have far to go. They're literally just right here. So the soldiers are going to go stand there. And I'm going to see if I can turn the cannons on in time. It seems like a dwarven child was found dead. Probably a skill issue. There go the goblins initially. The dwarves are following them. The cannons are firing, and uh-oh. Oh well. Dodge well, young dwarves. You should be going up. That's one out. That's two out. And that's three out. Is anybody still in there? Not that I'm seeing, so I will lock that door. And it appears that, aside from the Bash Nail Crypts being very injured, I can close this. And as far as the cannons go, it's flying. So I'm going to lock this up top. And close the gates. So I can see where these goblins are going. Because they appear to have a lot of mining gear. And they appear to be digging their way through here. But because they have a battering ram, it's not impossible to imagine a world. Yeah, that's a lot of great picks. Where's the battering ram? Because I had one of those too. Hey chat, can I get another round of beers or a bigger Vile Force of Darkness? Because this is a very threatening Vile Force of Darkness. I don't think you guys are fully respecting the fear that you should be feeling at this moment. There it goes. Right there. We shall prepare the dwarves. Vubok, the miner, and the hunter were found dead. Oh, shit. Oh. Oh, my God. My squads are all going to come back and immediately fucking die. Oh, that's horrible.
Bring out your dead!
Anyways, here goes this side. They're literally spawn killing them. The first goblins are climbing in. The dwarves are vaulting down and in. Oh, this could not possibly have gone worse. This could not possibly have gone worse. Like, I can't even look, because I need to follow this. We've got a dwarf that has claimed a carpenter's workshop. Yeah, as they come back, they're just getting slaughtered. One at a time. Oh, trust me, the goblins brought plenty of cheese with them. At least they managed to spill the guts of this fucking creature. I think they're turning at this point. Potentially. I think this needs to be a reservoir. You mess with the dwarves, and you'll get the dwarves. Where are you? It's like the dwarves keep coming in and still dying. Like, if any of these dwarves actually survive this, oh my god. These dwarves are going to be ridiculous. So I'm trying to think, like, what are my options here? What are really my options here? Because it seems like my squads have finally won that fight, so that's good. Where's the remaining goblins? There they are. Let's tell them to go station right there. And I'm going to open the front gate. Okay, we'll follow Wispy. The goblins have been softened, but the dwarves are fighting uphill. We've lost yet another dwarf. We've lost Monticore. We've lost a ton of dwarves here. Mark's dwarves are firing. Absolute fucking calamity, man. Okay, what's still here from the siege? It's a handful right there. Sending them to go deal with the remainder. There's some additional goblins firing out arrows and taking out the Mark's dwarves. Wispy's been found dead. We've lost at least 30. We still have Crub the Grub, and we still have the mayor. The siege has been broken. We're sending all the dwarves back inside. But good God, man. That was brutal. All right. I don't know, man. Did we really win? F for the Fallen, yeah. Jesus Christ. That would have been not that big of a deal if it wasn't right when I sent all my squads out. Because that happened. So I sent all my squads out to go invade the goblins, right? As I have been. And as they finished leaving, the goblins invaded me. So most of my squads weren't on the map. And some of them got hit by the cannons, not many. Most of them just beelined directly for the side of the fort and then dug through the bottom of the floor and immediately broke into the fortress. So there was almost nothing I could do. I had almost no real recourse to like slow them down or stop them, basically. I need to get a moat up, like stat. So we are going to be grabbing a lot of miners like right now. I'm going to turn off the burrows. We got work to do. And most of my military is dead now. As far as the raid against the goblins, I presume that went well. Not after the fact, though. Oh, yeah, and also where my soldiers re-entered the map was right where the goblins entered the map. So they all just got, like, clotheslined, basically, by blashers as they re-entered the map. Stormwolf died off map. I think we can rebound from this, but this is gonna be tough. Clement J. We're not in trouble yet because we still have the Duke. I just can't do much for the next little bit. Yeah, even this went poorly. Although what I will say, no, that it does make sense, Arthur J.S. Morin. What I will say is I do think that we have an advantage now. Because they just dropped a lot of weapons and gear. And this fort doesn't have access to native iron or native copper. So all I have access to is silver, meaning making weapons up until this point has been difficult. But going forward, we now have the ability. So that's good. That part is good. I think I'm just going to keep all of the squads off duty for the minute. And in fact, I may actually just delete all of them and rebuild them. Because this is where they should be. Because they just got so heavily beaten into shit. This dwarf died, but they're still listed there, so I will fix that. And then I will make a crossbow squad and a crossbow squad. Maybe not you. Let's just look for peasants. Okay, and then farmers. And you. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually finish this. This needs to all be filled in. This needs to all be filled in. And then we're going to dig a moat. That's what we're going to do. Let me just make sure that I'm not melting down a bunch of things I shouldn't be. Yeah, that shouldn't be melted down. Ah, we can melt that down, actually. It's fine. I have a bunch of stuff I need to slaughter, apparently. And here we go. I'm kind of amazed they didn't just go dig through this, actually. That's kind of what I was expecting them to do. And let's go over to here and plop down some more beds. So to anybody who's wondering, I will read the names of the living dwarves. Diamond Kalilov Shinobi II. If you don't hear your name, you are dead. Link the Sky Spear. Loki. Corey Fancy Pants. Laya. Cannonball. Flirt McMurph. Jesus. Gazoom. Crub the Grub. Snail. Waze. Ray. Is there anybody else I'm missing there? Devilish Potato. Founder's still there. Yeah, I think that's everybody. All right. All right. Well, good news is we're still smelting metal objects. Can you has one? Sure, if you insist. Beard, I assume? Darius? We'll see you later. Claymen J6. Cheers, dude. I do see. I just see it later. Just because I respond to the Twitch chat first and primarily doesn't mean I don't see the YouTube chat. I just look later. One dwarfed, bearded dwarfy coming up-dee. Up-dee's nuts. Wow. Snail, not only are you alive, you are the happiest dwarf in the fort. You get Rith. Darius, have you had a dwarf named Darius in this fort before? Or in this world before? Because if so, I could name you like Cardrin or Darius II or Darius de Best or something. He is very polite, and he observes the appropriate rules of decorum when possible. And he likes to brawl, and he isn't particularly curious about the world. He thinks that he is fairly important in the grand scheme of things, and he has an active imagination. He is not particularly interested in what others think of him. He is quick to form negative views about things and tends to be a little wasteful when working on projects. He tends to be a little wasteful when working on projects. He often feels envious of others and often acts with compassion. He holds his breath when he's nervous and needs alcohol to get through the working day. He personally is put off by family and sees competition as reasonably important and sees war as a useful means to an end and dreams of crafting a masterwork someday. He likes tin, pyrite, and elephant leather as well as the color deep sea blue. Hatch covers and splints and quinoa for their beer, and the words of the settering of intricacy and the sound of these songs of glossing and the sight of the rhythm of lyrics when possible prefers to consume sturgeon, maize beer, and and alpaca's milk and absolutely hates bark scorpions. His dry hair is extremely long and his broad body is cobalt and his eyes are narrow. You do have a decently large family and a younger brother who lives in the fort. And you worship Duthal, the god of healing and the god of death and war. And it's honestly not a bad series of gods to worship. And you're 47 years old. Different forts, you think? Or I could just name you Darius Cardrin or Space Cardrin or just Cardrin. I don't know, whatever you think's easiest for you to remember. I could just name you Darius, it doesn't really matter to me. Unless you've been in this fort already, which I don't think you've been, so. This dwarf's last name is Helmed Murders. Have you heard the one about the Helmed Murders? 'Tis a grim tale indeed. So now we begin melting metal objects. These over here can all be got rid of. Are you shoeless or pantsless? You are pantsless. Meanwhile, Cannonball over here is going to go get a new pair of pants. So he has one sock and a shirt on. And a hood, of course. And then the artifact was finished, which I didn't read because I clicked out of impulse. And has created L'Elmondostub, a bitter orange wood door. Cool. And offers it to the starvation of gluttons. That is a very pointed artifact to make for a fort like this, you know? It's a door. Being a door, that's such a A+, especially considering it's made of wood. I don't know where to put that at the minute. What if I just put it right there? That's kind of like the entrance to this area of the fortress. Then we'll take a look at it. Well, it's the wood is the type of wood is bitter orange, right? So the wood in and of itself isn't bitter, but the orange is that wood would have grown is bitter. So I guess all that we can really do is hope that we get a migrant wave soon. And do our best to deal with the dead. The door itself here is a bitter orange wood door. It is encrusted with round gabbro cabochons, round citrine cabochons, and cushion sulfurite cabochons, and decorated with llama bone and encircled with bands of bitter orange wood and lead. This object menaces with spikes of carambola wood and bitter orange wood, and spikes of carambola wood and bitter orange wood. On the item is an image of Maffel, Stake Zenith, the dwarf and dwarves in Sulfurite Maffel. Stake Zenith is surrounded by the dwarves. The artwork relates to the ascension of the dwarf Maffel, Stake Zenith, to the position of queen of the dipped volcano. That was one that we witnessed in the early spring of 224 in my last fortress as the humans arrived to trade. Isn't that exciting? Is she still the queen? No, she isn't. There's a new queen. I don't know what happened to the other one because I haven't looked, but chat could look. You guys do have access to legends. Yeah, Iteb is now the queen. I presume she died or seceded or like left, something along those lines. I'm actually just going to go down here and just erase all of that digging task. And then you down here. Yeah, early spring of 224, that's the last of it. And then I'm going to go to this and unlock this. And assign this as a tomb. And this tomb is going to be assigned to my duke, who probably hates it right now, but yes, you do in fact like your tomb. You want to practice some martial art? You want to be around friends? All right, well, set all of these as ready. And maybe I will make you your own squad and let you work it. Maybe we'll do that. What was Maffel's last name? They were the last queen of the faction. So if you go to the faction history and scroll down, you can find it. I don't have access to the translation of her name, but, or rather, I guess I could look at the door because it won't say in. Her last name was Stake Zenith. I'm going to go fold my dough real quick. I will be right back.
Son
sandwich!
All right. Dough folded. It's either a bakery. I'm baking a loaf of rye sourdough because I ran out of bread. But I need to fold it like every, I don't know, 30 minutes to an hour or so, and then let it sit for like 6. All right. Well, this has been an exciting morning. I had to let people into my apartment, and the fortress got murked. We'll see. Hopefully things cool down a little bit going forward here, because gosh, that was kind of a lot. I could go down to. I could actually mine out this, auto mine that, and use that for coffins. So I don't really want them to get toppled. I could also use this for coffins. I just kind of want everything that, or all the coffins to go in a place where they are convenient and easy to access for the dwarves once they get placed, and also don't take forever to construct. So I'm just going to start placing coffins in here. We could even wall these off once they're done, because they don't really visit crypts very often. They tend to just kind of, you know, be happy if their relatives didn't, like, rot on the surface, basically. This fortress stinks at the minute. Those goblins were rude. It was very harsh timing, yeah. I'm just glad that some of my soldiers survived. Like, I didn't lose everybody. You know, like, we do still have soldiers, per se. Like, maybe they're not the best, but at the very least, we still have soldiers. So there's that at the very least. I am out of... My mayor has been reelected. I am out of quivers. Let's do 20 quivers. Okay, well... And apparently my site is inaccessible by wagons, which is unfortunate. And a Forgotten Beast has come. This is a... knobby-trunked great hairy mite, and it undulates rhythmically. Its lavender hair is very curly. Beware its poisonous sting. So it's in a layer where it can get to us. I need to go to the cavern layer, and then I need to go over here, because over here is where I have the little way in. This is the water supply. I'm just going to put a grate over top of this, and that should stop stuff from getting in, because this is how it got in. So if I just put a grate on top of that, that should solve it. And regardless, I will dig out a little space right here and go here, and then channel, and then channel, and then maybe like actually dig up down here, then dig up down here, and then dig up over here. We'll work on this slowly, and this will become a little reservoir, and I'll just pump some water over there.
Crypt lurk at crypt work.
Crypt lurk at work. Enjoy your lurk at work. Silver She, thanks for the prime. Appreciate you. Wait, at least what's not stealthy? Oh, the Forgotten Beast? Yeah, geez, I hope not. That was pretty tough. Just a web-spitting Forgotten Beast showing up in the fort suddenly. Like just, oh no, the population dropped. Weird. And then just jump down there. There's just a giant spider Forgotten Beast in the fortress. It's always terrifying. Gavros in YouTube chat says, I just had my monarch arrive into the herd of agitated unicorns. Shortest capital stint ever. Yeah. I had the king and queen arrive during a spat of elven ambushes once. That was pretty similar. Did you reacquire the noble, or are you just like out of power now? It's really fun when like a noble dies, except like you get it reassigned and it's to somebody in your fort. That actually is something I really like. I love it when that happens. The only real good news about that siege is I've got a lot less mouths to feed, and hopefully the ones that survive this psychosis will be better off than the ones from before, you know? You didn't even know they could be stealthy? If nobody sees a dwarf get killed, the dwarf shows up as, this dwarf has been missing for a week, after a week. So if dwarf A dies alone, dwarf B dies alone, dwarf C dies alone, dwarf D dies alone, dwarf E dies alone, dwarf F dies alone. I already knew that the Forgotten Beast was on the map, but I don't get like the tick that somebody died until like the, how do I put it? I don't get the notice that somebody is dead until they're all done dying alone, if that makes any sense. What's up, Emily? Hey, chat, can I get a big round of beers for Silver Sheik keeping that subscription alive for 45 months? As always, this is a crowdfunded channel. I make a living because people throw bits and tips at me, and that's what helps me keep this channel funded and continuing to stream full-time primarily. So if you like what I do and would like to support it, you could do that by throwing a Prime sub just like Silver She did. If they're caught in the webs, can they witness the death of someone nearby? I mean, sure. I mean, but then there would be somebody witnessing the death. Like, what happened yesterday was a Forgotten Beast arrived and killed a dwarf, and nobody was in the room. And then they killed another dwarf, and nobody was in the room. And then they killed another dwarf, and nobody was in the room. And then they killed another dwarf, and someone was in the room, and I heard a tick. And then I looked, and there was 8 dead dwarves already. On behalf of the Merchants Guild, let me extend... No, actually, and I saw the combat notice, which doesn't make a sound, and I saw this dropping. And Gaia chucked out 5 memberships in the YouTube chat. Appreciate you. Let me extend my greetings to your people. There is much to discuss. And I will honestly just request anvils. Also, I think I managed to crush a minecart, actually, which is really funny. Yep, I did. I did, in fact, manage to crush a minecart. Okay, so I'm just gonna buy all of these tights, the ore that they brought. I'm gonna buy their food. And then I will sell as much as I need to. Maybe not as much as I need to. Okay, fuck it. I will sell as much as I need to. And buy additional extra stuff. And trade. That's the first one. And we wait. Oh, that's going pretty well, Gidosi. How about yourself? Really makes me feel like we're playing. Wait, what? Wait, which aspect of DF do you like, Emily? Or playing a collective mind and not wait? Like, what do you mean? Oh, that the game doesn't tell you? I mean, kind of. It's sort of like Fog of War in a way, or like Dwarf Fortress's version of Fog of War. It's a pretty close comparison. Trade for all that. You'd like to spend on personal projects? Isn't that like literally life just in general? Work is taking a lot of time that I'd rather spend on personal projects. Is literally life. At least you have personal projects, you know? I also desperately need to make a proper furniture stockpile because I don't have one. I actually like have almost no stockpiles in this fort. Stuff's just kind of everywhere. And this all needs to be dealt with. Let's put goblins in that stockpile, so we can at the very least start getting rid of the goblins. Okay, so I've already traded with the first two. Let's go down to the third one. Whatever I don't sell now can be sold to the dwarves later. They brought mog juice? Crazy. We'll buy the picks, so I don't need to make them. Buy the anvils, which I'll probably most... Oh, never mind, I won't buy the anvils. I lied. I also won't buy as many of those picks. Also lied. Whatever, we'll see if they'll take that. They will. Buy more. Some migrants have arrived despite the danger. Moses. Aiden. Extra dwarves to fill out the squads. Bookbinder. I mean, I guess that would make sense. Why are you going that way? Seems like such a strange Oh, you're gonna go pick something up, of course. Of course! But of course. Okay, so the next thing I'm gonna do is burial. Peasant. 21 tombs have been assigned. Yes, it's possible to turn off Forgotten Beasts. It's all under difficulties. Oh, well, it's a good thing I saw that. Because this right here is like... That's a little bit of a... I mean, little bit. A major threat to the fortress's safety. Some new guys after that last siege, yeah. You know, up to a population of 110 now from 90-something. Thankfully, this will get done quickly, too. There you go. And now I can just keep at this. Mog juice comes from mog hoppers and predates the manosphere term, mog juice, and mogging. It's mog hoppers are little cavern creatures that were created by Tarn and Zack for Dwarf Fortress and exist deep underground, and you squeeze them and you get mog juice. And then that can be cooked and brewed, I think. Or maybe it's already brewed. I don't know. Nisam, greetings, Noble Dwarf. There's much to discuss. They've updated our civilization and world info. I'm very happy that the Duke survived that. You think of Final Fantasy? Yeah. It is kind of an unfortunate recent term. Although it's not the worst. It's kind of one of those ones that's like so dumb that it's easy to make fun of. It's like aura farming, where it's like, I can't tell if the half of the people referring to it are saying it in earnest or just like in irony, because it is really funny when you think about it for like more than 10 seconds. Yeah, I'm trading with a shit ton of people. Elephants. And all of the food that I have has come from trading. So I'm intentionally stockpiling it. But now that we're actually in a spot where the fortress is actually at threat, I am refocusing the fortress to be much more... How do I put this? Defensive focused. Okay. Also, we're in an ad break, so I will pause the game until the ads are done. You remember those damn things? So do I. I had somebody, like, insisting that Pogs were awesome recently, and I can't... I can't condone this behavior. It's like the people that also insist that the prequels were good. It's like, I mean, sure, they're good kids' movies, but they weren't good Star Wars movies. Oh no, that's like half the fun, right? I'll be honest, I'm still figuring out how to deal with the sieges. Hey chat, actually out of curiosity, who else is in the same boat? Like, you've played the siege update, you like the siege update, but you're still figuring out how to deal with the siege update. Who else is still in that spot? Because that's certainly me, and I think that's going to be me for a while still. It's like figuring out exactly how the goblins prioritize it and how to, like, solve issues and deal with sieges. So your fortress doesn't just, like, fall. I've been trying to build way deeper. Yeah, that makes sense. I guess that's the other question is, has anybody actually figured out any good strategies so far? These are all dwarves putting things into tombs. There goes Monticore. Specifically Monticore's hand, or head, not hand. It's grim. More dwarves getting put away. Around important instructions, so reinforced walls with lava and water in between. Yeah. I mean, that's kind of what you have to do now, hey? Okay, so I'm just going to dig all this out one more time. And I'm going to go up to here. I'm kind of amazed, though, that you haven't seen them use the new tactics. I will say that siege, even as far as the new stuff's concerned, wasn't fucking around. Certainly wasn't fucking around. Okay, so how far out do I want this to go? Let's just go down to here and start filling this in. Because what I want is I want this to kind of just be one solid brick. So I'm just going to see if I can just go down through all this and just fill all that in. Crub the Grub meets with the human chancellor. And they give us some news. That's going to all take a little while to get dealt with. It's a goblin with an iron warhammer. It's another goblin. It's another goblin. Oh gosh. Okay, so up here, I'm going to make an additional minecart route, and I'm going to call this bodies. And this is going to take items from down here. You are going to take items from right there. You are going to load all corpses and any refuse. And you are going to take a lead minecart. And none of that. I had that set up and ready to go. I just need to make it. So once that minecart gets put up there, which will take a minute, they can transport the bodies nice and quickly. And I'm going to go right here and give us a little stairway up. Which again, it'll take a little bit to build, but once they get it done, it'll be super helpful. And all of this is getting dug out. Oh, that's fair. Let me tell you this. If historically you're like, yeah, the sieges were sometimes a bit tricky, but like they were never difficult or hard, forget everything that you just said and presume it's all wrong, because you're going to get your anus like fucking reamed. Like they are mean now. Especially if you let them be mean. What's crazy about caged invaders is that they can release them, Bismuth. I've had so little luck actually using caged invaders. I will say I should probably start putting weapon traps over here, though. Oh, actually, I've got an idea. Those will probably burn them, hey? Actually, no, I don't need to do this layer. Everything up to there should be fine. And then the last thing I need to do is, how many miners do I actually have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Do I want to make 10? Yeah, I want to make 10. They're going to request a miners guild, though, probably. My fort is full of vomit from a single dwarf survivor from a Forgotten Beast attack. Has he been to the hospital? Sounds like he's got himself a bad case of the Forgotten Stomach Flu. It's brutal, you know? You don't want to wish that on your worst enemy, unless you really hate your worst enemy. Okay, and then I need to go up to here. I can just do that. 12 more tombs. Okay, looks like we've got some open tombs now, finally. So how many dwarves are still getting put away? Still quite a few, but the good news is it seems as though we may have finally gotten to the end of the line of bodies. So that's very good news. Well, you'll remember very quickly when you have to deal with the forgotten contents of the stomach. It's like, what did I eat today? Blah! All right. Now I remember. Now I remember. That I will keep loaded. That I will keep loaded. And that I will keep loaded. Don't test fire them, just load them. Oh, that's a reinforced wall. Don't want a reinforced wall, just a regular wall. But yeah, I do honestly feel that the Siege update is one of the coolest updates they've ever done, just because of, like, how much it changes, how much you have to think about the game. Although, I'm not sure if I'm more excited for the Siege update now, or, like, the stuff that Tarn just said he's working on for the Magic stuff. Like, that is exciting. That is really exciting. Like, I can't wait to see what that looks like. Let alone how it plays, you know? Okay, let's just go up real quick. Can I just build over these? No. Okay, so these need to be deconstructed. And once those are deconstructed, I can do that. I can unforbid this. That gets deconstructed. If those blocks are inaccessible or something weird. I will just slowly work my way up into this so that all this can get filled in. And then we will start building a moat. I gave them a tavern yesterday, so that'll help with some of the things. And if we start having mood problems that are serious, then they can leave the fort. Willingly or not, doesn't really matter. The return of teleporting body parts. You know, considering like a not small portion of the of like the dwarf fortress following talks like dwarves are just teleporting all the time anyways. I don't think they ever stopped, according to some people. I mean, obviously, yes, they do not in fact teleport anymore, but I don't know, like the frequency at which with which I will read a Steam review of Dwarf Fortress, and they're just like, hey, this thing that is like literally not possible and won't happen because of a bug is happening constantly, and this game is unplayable. It's like, oh. Imagine if they actually could teleport body parts. Imagine. Although, honestly, the thing that, like, spooks me the most is, like, oh, imagine if they could, like, cast Fireball. And it's like, imagine if they could cast frame rate 0. Imagine. Just imagine. All right, so I need lava that can go into a moat. Let's do it. Green glass cork. Green glass pipe tube. We'll always forget that. Let's do 20 of each. I also probably need sand. And I'll just say 1 and 1. And 1 except for you. You do any, so there will just be sand available. Well, I mean, casting Fireball in a crowded room is literally just cast frame rate 0. Like, that's literally the effect that would have. Is the frame rate would go down very quickly. Although, what happens when you subtract 0 from a frame rate? 0. Set gameplay to stun is my other joke that I can come up with off the top of my head. I'm sure the invaders like that to be kept in platinum cages for the rest of eternity. Oh yeah, no, it's like his powers are too strong. We must imprison the Dark Wizard for all time. Although, actually, I think the thing I'm the most excited about out of Tarn talking about, like, you know, working on magic stuff is I just want to see the ancient civilizations in ruins. Like, he clarified in the Bay 12 report that we'll be able to see and seek out ancient ruins, which has me hoping for 2 things from that: adventure mode gameplay, like dungeons and stuff, and fortress mode gameplay, like settling on them. Like, imagining getting to settle on an ancient wizard tower. I mean, right now we have tombs, which are kind of that, but those are pretty, like, recent as far as tombs go. Like, something that I've always wanted from, like, a mod or otherwise would be just, like, there's I think it's a mod for RimWorld. It was something that a game called King Under the Mountain wanted to do, but never got to fully implement it. I've always wanted a way for the player to stumble on their own ruins in a more organic way. Like, there's a thing that a game called Dungeon Mans does, which is you can find your own corpse in other runs, or if your character doesn't die, then your characters show up as NPCs in other runs. And it would be really cool, because, like, Dwarf Fortress has so much continuity, right, already? It would be really cool if, like, a fortress died due to a calamity or something, and then you were able to find it later in a new world, or, like, find elements of your fortress design, you know? You didn't know anyone else has played it? I recommend Dungeon Mans a lot to people who want to get into traditional roguelikes. There's an interview on my YouTube channel with the developer. He's a cool dude. And the guy who did most of the art for my channel, Cooler, is one of the contributors to what is it? Art of the Commando? Something of the Commando, the game he's working on now. Kind of puts you to sleep. It's very straightforward if you've played a lot of roguelikes. I mean, it's mostly like a comedy roguelike, right? Like, you're kind of there for the humor, and the mechanics are also there if you're interested, and then the rest of it is just, like, seeing the slapstick humor. Like, I don't know. That game is, like, as much about the comedy as... I thought I saw a dwarf jump into lava. Like, that game is as much about the comedy as it is about the mechanics. As a slapstick comedy game that's fun for a couple hours here and there, I quite like Dungeon Mans, but it's no Caves of Cud, you know, like, it's no all-time classic. But as far as recent roguelikes go, it is one of the goods. In my opinion. But it's definitely one of those games where whenever it's on sale, you can buy it. You should buy it because it's good. And also, it's a good developer to support. The last thing I'll say about Dungeon Mans is It has a DLC, which is called Pay to Lose. And the great thing about that DLC is Tarn thought that was so funny. Tarn Adams of Dwarf Fortress. He thought that was so funny that he left the developer of Dungeon Mans a tip by giving him a gift. Because there's a method for you to tip the developer of Dungeon Mans by buying him some candies because he has a wish list or whatever. And so Tarn bought him a bag of chocolates because he thought that DLC was funny. Yeah, he does seasonal updates. Yeah, the chickens update was the last time I streamed it. It was pretty funny. It was a good update. DCSS also has player ghosts, which tend to be very strong. Yeah, those date back to like the original Rogue, don't they? Or maybe I'm confusing OG Rogue with NetHack. I know NetHack has ghosts. Actually, let's just do it this way. Pig iron you right there, and steel you right there. Galena can go away. That will keep. Section of caravan is... Oh no, somebody died. Aiton. That was bad. This is what I get for trying to dig out too large of an area. Oh well, what's one more for the pile, right? Rest in peace, Aiton. You have to pay respects, chat. But that's as far down as this one's going, so. Sword of the Stars, the pit. I fucking hated the pit. Not the show. Sword of the Stars, the pit. I did not enjoy that game. And then Sword of the Stars, the Pit 2 is maybe one of the worst examples of a roguelike I've played in recent memory. So, wasn't a fan of the Pit, unfortunately. I'm also a little bit baffled. That's one of those games that kind of baffles me that it exists and people played it. Because there's just so many games that I feel are better that it just kind of amazes me that it has an audience, I guess. I'm just going to okay, that's it. A devilish potato has been found. God damn it. That's funny because, like, devilish potato is one of those dwarves who consistently dies right after getting named. There's actually 3 Donjus. There's actually 3 Sword of the Stars, the Pit. Or Sword in the Stars, the Pit. It's plural. 3 pits. There's 3 of them. Chat, can I get a round of beers for the Deviled Egg and also a round of Fs for poor old Deviled-On? Or not Deviled-On, Devilish Potatoed. Because they got potatoed once more. Rest in peace, you poor dwarf. I'm sorry for my incompetence. I'm kind of like doing this too fast in a way because I'm trying to build a lot of systems right now to be able to survive the next siege and not have as many losses again. Like I need to have a moat up and running by the next siege, and right now I won't survive another siege if they hit me again, so I'm just kind of like trying to maybe build faster than my fortress really has the capacity to right now. Oh, Well, that's why things are not getting completed. There's a block up there. Let's go over here and see what we have for pumps. Nice. What if I just go back down to there and say 2? We'll do them in 2. Because once again, hash browns, smash browns more like. You've been struggling to sell elves anything besides your spare armor. Your dwarves decidedly don't want the steel shields I make. What are they using for shields? Gavros. Elves won't use anything that uses any kind of wood product. Silk clothing or plant cloth clothing is probably your best bets as far as stuff to sell them. But why aren't your dwarves using your steel shields? Like, what are they using instead? Because you might have to update their equipment, and if you're not updating, if you have updated their equipment and they're not picking it up still, then I'm not entirely sure. Aside from maybe you have other types of shields assigned, like nothing. Okay. Open up your squads. Update equipment is the first thing that you should do. And if they're yellow, then just make sure that they're not set to off duty. Because if they're set to off duty, they won't pick up anything. Otherwise, the only other thing I could think of is that they just don't have them assigned, at which case, yeah, you got to fix that. That fixed it? Hell yeah! Happy to help, dude. Chat, we helped somebody. Round of beers for yourselves. We did a good. Help a Dwarf Fortress player today and keep the Armlock's wrath away. The mayor, if they are still unnamed. They are. You do need 2 weapon racks, though, which maybe I can help you with. Maybor? I started typing in maybe. Darut. I actually haven't met this mayor much because I knew the other mayor. Crowd Towers. Never acts without prolonged deliberation, even to her own detriment and the harm of those around her. She feels a strong need to pay back any favor done for her and is not easily moved to mercy. She is conflicted by this since she sees these tendencies as an impetus to the quest for power. She has an overbearing personality and prefers to present herself modestly. She has a tendency to consider ideas and abstractions over practical applications, and she tends to avoid any physical confrontations. She works to square this natural tendency with her respect of martial prowess. And she has little interest in joking around. She has a tendency to go it alone without considering the advice of others, and she has a noticeable lack of perseverance. She thinks that she's fairly important in the grand scheme of things, and she lives a fast-paced life. She can handle stress and generally is quite confident in her abilities when undertaking specific ventures. She enjoys the company of others and occasionally overindulges. She dreams of raising a family and personally dislikes cooperation. She respects power and values tranquility and a peaceful day. She thinks that the pursuit of skill mastery is off-putting and sees introspection as important. Another thing, Gavros, they won't equip shoes unless you click the button armor replaces clothing, and then save it as its own uniform and assign it to all of them. I will be doing that probably pretty soon here for some of my dwarves, but I need them to be fully geared up first. She finds the pursuit of skill mastery off-putting and sees introspection as important. She likes brimstone silver and red flash opal, giant mountain goat hoof, maces, animal traps, and the meditations of droplets, and the sound of the glossing. Sound of the glossing and the sight of songs of glossing and the sight of the veneration of luxuries, and when possible prefers to consume rye beer and foxtail mullet flour, and absolutely hates mosquitoes. Me too. You have a bunch of passing acquaintances, and you worship Eris, god of death, and you're a member of the communion of gods, as is custom. Some lucky timing and 500 channel points, and if you subscribe to my blog at the recommended tier or on Twitch at tier 2, you will also get access to a command, which is !dwarf, which lets you skip the line. Those are your 2 ways to get a dwarf. What are you ing about, YouTube chatter? That one at the end is the penthouse suite, obviously. And these are the college dorms at the end, or the New York style apartments. And by style, I mean tiny. And this one at the end here is the Japanese style apartment, which I mean poorly designed. Never mind, it's actually just a New York style apartment. I was lying. I do need some more bedrooms, so we're working on that. With the 500 channel points redeem. What do you want? Hi, Ajitai. Beard or no beard? Also, hey, Romanoid. Assuming you're not in an ad, in which case you didn't hear me, but it's the thought that counts. I mean, I have god powers, so I can use it sometimes. Any dwarf? Okay. You're a surgeon. Ring Dips is your last name if you want to look yourself up on Legends, which to me sounds like onion rings. Also, I will say, people have been very hesitant to redeem dwarves recently, like, just as of late. So, lately, like yesterday, there was a good 2.5 hours there where nobody redeemed a dwarf. So always check, you know. You never know. She never acts without prolonged deliberation and to her own detriment and the harm of those around her. She truly is fulfilled by assisting those in need and has an overinflated sense of self-worth. She isn't particularly curious about the world and tends to hang on to grievances. She doesn't mind a little tumult and discord in day-to-day living, and she is conflicted by this since she values harmony as an intellectual concept. She takes offered help and gifts without feeling particularly grateful, and she does not easily fall in love and rarely develops positive feelings. She occasionally overindulges and sometimes acts with little determination and confidence. She has a sense of duty, and she still holds the law in disdain. She often bites her nails when she's trying to remember something, and when she's bored, she constantly rolls her eyes. She needs alcohol to get through the working day and doesn't really care about anything anymore. She dreams of mastering a skill and personally views decorum as a high ideal and is deeply offended by those that fail to maintain it. She strongly believes that a peaceful and ordered society without deceit is best, and disdains the law and values family and finds introspection to be a waste of time. You want the penthouse apartment at the bottom of the volcano? Heard it's not. It's a hot listing. Many dwarves have made offers, but none of them came out alive. The Frog Witch. Thanks for the brand new Prime sub. Appreciate you. We got a Frog for Hire and a Frog Witch. And I miss Froggy Frog, but we used to also have a Froggy Frog. Chat, can I get a round of beers for the Frog Witch? And also, if you missed me, Romanite, it's good to see you, by the way. Yeah, right. You are in permanent out of ad country. Can I be hopeful and wish that you had ads? Like, that would mean the world is healing. If you had ads, that would actually be a good thing. So to go to websites blocked here? Yeah, fair. Makes sense. No, you were a frog. You were previously, as in previously, tadpole. Now you are frog. This is Sparta. Okay, so let's make more pumps. I needed one additional one. So close. Hey! The wagons have arrived! Did the wagons just arrive in a herd of yaks? That's crazy. Alright. For the horde, I think. You know, I know that for the Horde is like a Warcraft thing, right? But for me, for the Horde is absolutely, completely linked with Cannibal Corpse and cannot be separated from it. Because Corpse Grinder will often go on stage and just scream, "For the Horde!" Like, randomly with no context. While he holds up his Horde tattoo. Based on our stockpile supplies, I would say fresh meat is back on the menu, but we've had meat for a while. It's probably pretty salty at this point, though. Or alternatively, sufficiently dried. Your Marks dwarves are wasting all of your steel bolts when they have wooden bolts, so you should tell them to train with wooden bolts in the training menu, not steel bolts. You got to enable that. Also, they're not wasting, they're training. They're just not simply training the way that you see that they should be training. Doesn't mean they're wasting it. I personally don't bother with training ranged combat dwarves, YouTube chatter, because they train so much more efficiently on like one siege anyway. Like 2 sieges is more efficient than training for months. And so I just get them to train wrestling and like observation and stuff in a barracks. And then once the enemy actually shows up, then I'm like, yeah, charge. And then they learn to shoot pretty quickly. Basically, I like live fire training, is what I'm saying. Man, spears are still forbidden, eh? Guess that includes the wooden ones. I guess training spears are fine, because they're not spears. They're training spears. It's like the sort of justification I would make to get out of trouble with something. I don't know if they'll be able to carry the mine carts, but I'll try. Insult to injury? Well, aside from that, they'll just bounce off and cause minor bruising and not much injury, but... Are these all separate caravans? Yep. It's 4 different factions I trade with, or 3 maybe? You died, but are still listed as in squads, so I will reassign you. Oh, I also need crossbows, I presume. That is a lot of stuff. Holy shit. Let's do copper crossbows. Let's do 20. Here they come. I feel like with the way sieges are balanced right now, that would just get your soldiers murked. Because they have the ability to send sword masters, right? So if your dwarves are all like medium-high novice tier, and the enemy sends sword masters, that's just fort over. Like, you cannot win that fight. You know, there's like 4 or 5 wagons per trade caravan. How am I getting so many wagons? Because I demanded tribute from like 5 or 6 different groups right at the start. And that's how and every single one of them trades with you. So I have trading deals with all of them. I just don't normally do that because that ends with like traffic jams and shit like this. And assuming another magma man doesn't come running out of the volcano like that one time, we shouldn't have any problems. They'll all unload and we'll all be fine, see? If I scroll down here, they're all unloading. It's going to take a little bit, because they do have to all get here. Oh, the other thing I should do. So I should go over here. Actually, I changed my mind. I'm going to dig out this way. So I'm going to go up to here. I'm going to dig out that way. Basically right there is where the actual moat is going to go. I think that the way combat works right now, if you overcomplicate the requirements for training, nobody will ever have sufficiently trained soldiers to be able to survive anything. Okay. When you have multiple caravans, it's very simple. When you click trade, you just get a selection hoop. Which faction do you want to trade with? I've had a horrendous amount of technical difficulties to the point where I almost rage quit the stream. But aside from that, pretty fine. I'm making bread. I get up every hour or so and stretch and fold it, so that part's been fun. Thankfully, it only manifests when I tab out. It started with the most recent update to OBS, so I have some theories as to what's causing it, and I have some theories on how I can fix it, but I need to actually fix it. So, you know. Let's maybe give you a smaller bit of profit on the end of that. Trade. All of these dwarves are very slowly bringing lead minecarts over. I'm your liaison from the mountain homes. Let's discuss your situation. We've updated your maps and world info. I'm going to request that you please bring iron ore. Limonite and magnetite. Magnet fight, you say? Speaking of, bars. Got shit tons of silver. Holy shit. Tons of leads. Tons of billion. I think we're probably just out of flux, if I had to bet. No, we got flux. Okay. We're just making copper crossbows at the moment. Let's do iron greaves, iron gauntlets, iron shields, iron high boots, iron steel spear. Well, steel short swords. We'll do 7 of those. Let's grab you. Still working through those. Did I say shields? Yeah, don't do the shields. I got plenty of shields. I need more gauntlets. We'll select everything that I want. Let's grab the flasks because I'm too lazy to make my own, although some of those have to be worth ridiculous amounts. Yep, there's a couple ridiculously expensive ones in there. Go back to buying all the food and fruit. I'll also grab the steel greaves, because why not? Well, at least I can buy everything. Ha, 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 diamond. That's all I have to say to that. I'm actually planning on upgrading my whole OS to keep up with the version, because I need to do that eventually anyways, because stuff is supporting newer firmwares. But yes, I will roll back. Well, first I will like quadruple check that there's nothing I can upgrade on my end to fix it, but then I will roll back is what I will do tonight, and then I will back up my OS and then upgrade to Debian Trixie this weekend. I was planning on doing that a couple weeks ago, but then I got sidetracked and made that video that I uploaded recently, you know, which I think most of you have seen. This is the Goblin Diplomat, who has a different color voice, which is fun. Just from a different Dwarven Civ. These guys. Let's just wait until the last of the stuff's there. Sidetracked. Did you ever put professional procrastinator in your CV? I don't recommend it, but I feel like there is there should be a comedy bit of like honest cover letter. You know, it's just like like the reality of a cover letter is just like, I've always wanted to work here. Working in this place has been a dream for my entire life. I've spent my whole childhood dreaming of the day that I could apply to work at McDonald's. I've always wanted to work in fast food. I love burger. Big fan of burger. Burger saved my life once. Burger rescued me from a fast-moving car. My childhood idol was the Hamburglar, followed by like all of that bullshit, whereas reality is just like, help, I need money. I'm broke. I have 3 more weeks I didn't want to apply here, but it was my last option. Everybody else has said no. The Shinobi, the manager. I am a team player, absolutely. Me applying for Chick-fil-A, yes. Although, hey, some people, I've never been to a Chick-fil-A, but I hear good things about Chick-fil-A. So, like, you know, there's probably somebody out there who, like, likes Chick-fil-A enough that they're happy to get the discount, but, like, at the same time, none of that's actually true to that level of extreme. Well, I mean, I think if you put a more in there somewhere, Ryan, you might actually be onto some reality. Currently, I'm using Mint Cinnamon. I want to move to Debian Trixie. But I'm using currently Mint supports older versions of Linux kernel. And when this problem started, I went and figured it out, and it's quite literally just OBS has moved to a newer version, so I could temporarily fix it by rolling back OBS. But it got weirdly worse this morning, so I don't know what changed, but... So I could roll back OBS, which is what I will do tonight. And then this weekend I will move to Debian Trixie from Mint. So I can be on a current version of the kernel. Not really. It's just going from heavily flavored Debian to Debian. You know, I'll be honest, I would absolutely distro hop Cutest Ghost if I made twice what I currently make with 10% of the work. I would absolutely, no questions asked, be distro hopping constantly. I just don't have time for that shit. Like, I already do 60-hour weeks, and I want to have some time out of the apartment and some opportunities to socialize and some opportunities to, you know, not just be working all the time. As much as I don't mind working. A lot of it is quite literally just I don't have the capacity, like mental bandwidth-wise, to do more. Crub the Grub meets with another person, and we get more news. You grab another gem. I'm just going to go over here real quick. And give us another little set of stairs up to here. Fuck it, we'll use lead, because why not? I'll be honest with you, I moved to Linux because after testing it on a USB stick, it was pretty clear it would use less mental bandwidth than Windows. Like, I've been on Linux now for 2.5 years, and I've had 2 spots of technical difficulties, one of which was my fault and I knew it. Like, I tried something that I figured wouldn't work and it broke, and I was like, well, saw that coming. And then the other one is this, and it's specific, and I still know the reason, and it's literally just I need to update a thing. I prefer the headache that I've gotten from Linux versus, like, there is no such thing as a perfect OS, right? Like, every OS is gonna break, and then somebody in chat's gonna be like, I'll have you know that my Nix OS install is absolutely perfect and has never broken on me, and every time it did, I just simply copy pasted a text file. And I know, but I also don't have the mental bandwidth to learn Nix, so I'm good. Nix OS, my bad. Don't attack me in the comments section, you Nix OS users. Yeah. Yeah, no, I understand that. Like, there's definitely, like, a portion of people that are just like, it is actually a bigger headache, because if you're also, if you're using Linux, but also you have to then switch back and forth to Windows to be able to play Battlefield or something, I would actually argue that if you do want them to check the box, buy the game, leave a negative review saying it doesn't support Linux, refund it, and don't play it. If you want them... And then use Linux. Like, if you want them to do that, that's the only way you can make them do that. Because, like, half of the fucking, like, anti-cheat software that people use already supports Linux. They just have to enable it and support it. Which they can do. They absolutely can. Oh, shit. I screwed this up. Whoops. That was the biggest reason you haven't Linuxed up. The last multiplayer FPS game I played was Titanfall. So at this point, I think I can say that I'm good. Like I'm Titanfall 1, by the way, not Titanfall 2. I think I'm safe in regards to games that have that kind of anti-cheat. You know, I'm not gonna lie. NixOS users are just Arch users that have been like dissociated with Arch because Arch is somehow usable enough for normal people to like promote using it. Basically, like NixOS users are just Arch Linux users that have leveled up. So if you're like, oh, they act like missionaries, yeah, because they're just Arch users, and Arch got too accessible. That's not totally true, but they found something that was more optimizable and crazy than Arch. They are the same people. Okay, so let's just manually assign these. I want to see how much more I have. Just assigning the upset ones, primarily. Not that this will fix them, but I'm trying. Barely put a dent in it. We'll put more in. Shinobi has created... the manager has created Zanos Lalum Adfil Fullet, a microcline quern, and offers it to the starvation of gluttons. I'm going to place that in your office. Or in your office. I mean, I don't know if I necessarily agree with that, Urist, but okay. Because people who say I use Arch Linux don't talk the way they used to. They talk like Nix users do now. For milling dyes? Yeah, it could be, but I'm not going to use it because we're not doing any farming, and I'm considering that as part of farming. So yes, you are correct. But that would require farming. This is a very expensive quern, 23,900. All craft store ship is of the highest quality. It is encircled with bands of cushioned microcline cabochons, oval cut black opals, and this object menaces with spikes of hornblende, goshenite, and on the item is an image of Spiral Priest, the marble figurine of Godin banner riddled in smoky quartz. On the item is an image of a coffin in copper. Oh, that checks out. Holy butts, it's windy out there. What is the speed of the wind outside? I need to check this app that I have on my phone that tells me the speed of the wind outside as well as the weather. Because I just saw a tree like trying to do the... How low can you go? Oh my god, gusts of up to 67? Good lord. Kilometers an hour. That would be it. I mean, there was somebody who was literally sounded like a traveling preacher in my Discord the other day. Which was, you guys should really hear about NixOS. Like, I don't want to learn a scripting language to build my OS, thanks. Like, honestly, I'm good. I've heard everything I need to know already, thank you. I mean, now that I can't actually have an opinion of. I can have the opinion that it's complicated and I don't wanna. But I can't speak to the actual quality of the language itself. That would be like me just slandering a thing. If you've used it and you know, then by all means, blab away. But on my part here, I actually can't say anything about the actual quality of the scripting language because I genuinely do not know. Fucking techno priests roaming the cyberspace. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, trust me. There's many of them. Although, honestly, living in a reality where there is enough cool OSs that people are willing to literally evangelize for them is a pretty good reality to live in, you know? Like, I would much rather live in that reality than a reality where, like, well, Microsoft exists, you know? Like, if I'm given an option between, like, having many different operating systems that I could choose from fuck you ridiculous complicated to normal people sane, I'll take it. Like, that's great. That is an excellent place for computing to be. If not, like, the best place for computing to be, you know? I don't even know what that is. Explain like I'm 5? In regards to the thing that you just said, Yuristov? We have an ad break running, so I'm just going to really quick set up a magma kiln. I'm probably just going to queue up bricks, but... or maybe just, like, statues. I'm going to go up to here. I also love the fact that I managed to actually, like, make this completely inaccessible, which I didn't intend to do. Whoops. Let's go here. Do that. And maybe I'll put some levers up here to be able to turn this on and off. Well, Temple OS is an unusable meme. Like... nobody uses Temple OS. Not because Temple OS is bad. I think people want Temple OS to be good. Because it is funny to think about and a sad story when you think about it too hard.
Ah, ads. Gotta correct that quick.
They should be over now anyway.
Crypt
Umbrella
fear.
Alderman, thank you very much for the 3rd month. Welcome back. Appreciate you. Yes, there was a very interesting goblin visit. Chat, can I get a round of beers, by the way? There's a new community FAQ put up. There's nothing there. Fans of blind. I bet. Trust me, at the rate people ask me stuff, there's definitely stuff people won't know. Now, I'm going to try something. Add scene. Window capture. Yes. Close this first. Turn it off. Click this, turn it on. Oh, there it is. This is me hoping that this won't overload my encoding. Does that overload my encoding? We'll find out in a sec. I work with Kit Fox game. You know, I feel like this should have come out a while ago. How do you all know each other? How is Kit Fox Games involved with Dwarf Fortress development? Why not hire programmers? Actually, why? We can't and won't hire a bunch of programmers to make updates faster, and even if it is a huge project so far, let's scroll in. It's, we've hired exactly one programmer to the team who is selected based on the extensive pre-testing and understanding of the code base and the relationship with Tarn. Dwarf Fortress is a single complex simulation, is the single most complex simulation ever created by one programmer. Then it was started in 2000. It started in 2002. Actually, and this work on this labor of love is necessarily based on trust, and we are optimizing to make the game the best game according to Tarn's vision, no matter how long it takes, rather than trying to optimize for speed. Modders have the freedom to move fast and break things, and Tarn does that sometimes, and we'll continue to support them. This is a lifetime project, and this game is not necessarily finished, but it is our place. But our pace is focused in long-term updates. Will come slowly and steadily forever. Selling the game on Steam does not change the way that Zach and Tarn will continue to develop Dwarf Fortress. It's not like any other game. Or off Steam, there was far ahead of its time, partially because of the unique development approach. And we know it can be frustrating to wait, but we will not interfere just because some fans are impatient. Word. What about this? What about the Mac build? After investigating the program requirements, it's decided to make its best to cancel the Mac build. People ask me about this so frequently that it's starting to gaslight me into believing that there's more than 12 people who use Mac and want to play Dwarf Fortress on a Mac. I'm sorry if you're one of those 12 people, but there's only 12 of you, okay? Reintroduce key. Yes, they're working on that, right? From what we understand, it's partially because of a fairly extensive task. Blah, 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 yeah. This game's older than you are. This game's older than a lot of people are. It's older than Roblox by 6 weeks. At least if you want to talk about initial release dates, because Roblox came out in 06. Will you translate the game into other areas? We did! There's already multi-threading for some things, but the remaining issues that usually cause slowdown, like pathfinding, won't be helped by it. Yay! That's nice. Fullness of time, I wouldn't be surprised, but right now, Tarn and Zach are prioritizing other improvements. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you're right. My most consistent response to why isn't bug from 8 years ago fixed yet is it's probably not a bug. Parallels? I have no idea what Parallels is, counter-based gaming. I assume it's like a compatibility layer or something. And there go all the wagons. This really is one of my favorite times of year in this fort. What did it say about a GOG release? Is there's an itch.io release, which is also DRM free. So is Steam, by the way. And they don't feel the need to support an additional storefront. I don't even need to say it for you. That's literally what it is. Clino, could I ask you kindly to also post that in the YouTube chat if anybody wants to go look at it? I should have done that, but I didn't really think about it. And now I'm here. I don't understand why people demand a GOG release for DRM free when, 1, the Steam version is already DRM free, 2, the itch.io version is also DRM free, and 3, why do you need to sell it on an additional storefront? Who cares, really? I understand, that GOG has its users and its fans, but the reasoning is always, we want a DRM-free release. It's all of the releases are DRM-free, and there's a DRM-free specific platform already that's supported. Why do you need another one? It's literally just more taxes paperwork. Synthetic Cat Girl, thanks for 10 months. Appreciate you. Checking to get a round of beers for Synthetic Cat Girl. It's a virtual machine. We're really well optimized for gaming compared to other VMs. Yeah, I've never. It's expensive as fuck. Runs in Oh, is that one of those, corporate softwares, which is why I probably haven't heard of it? Welp. It's probably corporate, right? I mean, isn't like a corporate license of VMware also ridiculously expensive? Rock blocks. I'm just gonna do one task for specifically obsidian for my outer walls. See where we're at on these top 2 squads. What are you up to? Oh, you've got a pickaxe in your inventory. That'd be why. Okay, so top squad can officially swap uniforms. So I'm going to go to you and go details and click this button. Uniform replaces clothing. I'll call this metal melee full. Confirm and save, and then assign this whole squad to it. And they will now go swap out for... They'll go strip their clothes off and get fully armored for real. Okay, that's all done. Actually, let's do Gabbro on that, not Obsidian. And I will catch up on chats in a second. I'm still I'm trying to just accelerate all of my construction here so I can catch up and keep caught up instead of falling behind again. You want a smith metal crafter. You've got several options, so take your pick. VirtualBox is what you've always used? Yeah, back when I used virtual machine stuff, I used VMware. I want to say I want to say they had a free version, but I may have torrented it. I can't remember. I honestly can't remember. It's been so long. Catan looks good. He is in the military. Maffel is the least likely to die in the short term. So if you're okay with somebody who's in the military, we could go with Catan. He does have 1 kill. He's actually a master hammer dwarf, so he's pretty skilled. Zortos. Did you have a dwarf previously in this fort? I think you did. Or at least recently. Would you like me to vary your name at all, or are you okay with that? It's not really useful for you since you're on Linux. So I haven't used GOG in a very long time. Is GOG Linux compatible at all? Or no? It sounds like no based on what you just said. I personally stopped using GOG almost entirely around the same time I discovered itch.io. Itch.io kind of does everything that I would want GOG to do, but with more features. Zortos would be totally fine.
Feels
Sure.
pleasure when resubscribing.
I mean, it doesn't really matter. I know what it is. Portum 5, thank you very much for the 2nd month with Prime. Chat, can I get a round of beers? That means the first one wasn't an oopsie. Chat, can I get a round of beers for the 2nd month with Prime? Appreciate you. Yeah, no, absolutely. You can use Lutris, but Anyway, seeks out exciting and adventurous situations, and is quite ambitious, doesn't try to get things done perfectly, and is moved by art and natural beauty. He tends to avoid crowds and has a greedy streak, and he tends to avoid crowds and has a greedy streak, and he is a friendly individual. He tends to make a small mess with his own possessions and often snaps his fingers when he's bored. He needs alcohol to get through the working day and doesn't really care about anything anymore. He dreams of creating a great work of art, and personally thinks that there is something deeply wrong with people that persevere through adversity and does not respect the law, and finds eloquence and artful speech off-putting, and does not care about nature one way or another. Speaking of game stores that aren't compatible with Linux, I got something to talk about with Epic in a second. Did you guys hear that there's rumors flapping around in the rumor mill that Disney's trying to buy Epic? Anyway, he likes schist, steel, and turquoise in the color eggplant, and flasks and large rats for their strength and the sound of the tressed berry, and when possible prefers to consume giant hyena and carrot wine, and absolutely hates worms. You just followed a vampire for 10 years in Dwarf Fortress. Crazy! Was his name Toasted? I just continue with reading the dwarf. I mean, it was in my brain and it would be gone by the time the dwarf description was done. That's not true. It probably would still be there. Like steel, turquoise, and the color eggplant, large rats for their strength and the sound of the tressed berry when possible. He prefers to consume giant hyena and carrot wine and absolutely hates worms. And he worships Earth, the god of death, and the communion of gods, and you are a talented blacksmith. That's an April 1st joke? No, I mean, sorry, what day was Tuesday? Not April 1st. No, like so it's strictly in the rumor mill. Yeah, no, this was Monday that news came out. The 30th. No, it's strictly in the rumor mill. Like, this isn't like something that's publicly confirmed or anything. It's literally just a consistent leaker stated Disney is currently trying to is currently in talks trying to buy Epic. And for a little bit of clarity here, in the past few years, Disney has tried to buy has been rumored to be trying to buy EA Games, Ubisoft, I guess now Epic, and there was one other one. Blizzard at one point? But that was closer to when the Blizzard movie, or when the Warcraft movie came out. That was a while ago. So, like, that's nothing new. Nothing new. And also probably is completely meaningless and won't have any actual impact on anything, so I wouldn't worry about it too much. Well, yes, Microsoft has Blizzard now, but everybody's always for sale and everybody's always talking, as is the way with any industry. But it would make some sense because Epic did just downsize like crazy in a really short period, so there would actually be some, like, I'm not going to say like correlation to make it make sense, but like believability to a rumor like that at the moment. And also Disney has been supposedly rebuilding their, like, their games studio division. Like, they're trying to be more than just an IP licensor. Oops, not mine. That's not what I wanted. I wanted, I was trying, I don't know what I was typing in. Link, that's what I was looking for. Mechanism is what I was looking for. Although I could see a world where Fortnite was playable on with a Disney Plus subscription. That I could see. Who, Epic or Disney? Frog for Hire? How do you go about making clothes for dwarves? Normally, I just grow pigtails or hemp or other things and then process it into silk. But in this fort, I'm buying a lot of cloth. That's actually one of the bigger struggles in this fort, is actually maintaining cloth. I should make gabbro mechanisms, because I've got more gabbro sitting around right now than obsidian. The gift of gabbro. Oh, okay, fair enough. And I gather they weren't fun to work for, hey? Once that's closed, we can connect this. There we go. Now you're gonna get pulled. And then that closes. Pretty good timing on that, I say. So we now have a magma-safe bridge and a pumping setup for it. Excellent. Except I'm going to put in a second lever down there and connect it to that so I can turn that on and off pretty easily. What? Where is your... Well, that's a little annoying. I don't know where the minecart that was supposed to be up there went, but there was supposed to be a minecart up there. Maybe it torched somebody. That would be unfortunate, but... But no, as far as the question of is that an April Fool's joke, I don't celebrate April Fools. Kind of intentionally. I find it insufferable, so I assume other people agree. I used to, but I grew up. Okay, so that will bubble in. So instead, I will do that. The Wertelope Bar Igu Casserole has come. A large antelope twisted into humanoid form. It is crazed for both flesh and also blood, and its eyes glow aqua. Its black hair is long and straight. You will know why you fear the night. Great. Uh-oh. 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 Well, that's not good. Did you get bit? Miss, so you're fine. How about you? You hit it, which teared the right lung, so I think you killed it. Diamond killed it. No, you didn't kill it, but you did tear its lung. I'm not gonna fall like your husband did. And you also didn't kill it. It missed you, it grabbed you and threw you, and you landed on your head. But you're fine. There is blood, though. A tear. Oh. Oh, a tear. You poor dwarf. Chad, I got bad news. But Atir is the first of many. I'm sure. The first of many to have to accept their fate. I've got an idea, chat. I'm just going to give you a nickname so I can keep an eye on you. I've got an idea. Actually, let's just do it this way. So these should get constructed pretty quick. So it was a 3, 4. Yeah, it was just the 4 of them. I want to see if I can make this dwarf self-insert into lava. I think I can. Game, can't you see I'm busy? The Forgotten Beast, Ithby Essolormorek has come, a great 3-eyed, 8-legged iguana. It has a gaunt appearance and sky blue scales, which are round and overlapping. Beware its noxious secretions. And it is down here and shooting out gases. That is an appropriate number of eyes. Creepy. I love the multi-legged ones. They look cool. Hellcoaster? Not quite. This is going to be a little bit less exciting than a Hellcoaster probably could be. But hopefully we'll have a similar effect. What if I actually do this? These will look nice. Like rose gold, yeah. Oh, okay. The Lost Soul. You are at here. Kid, this isn't a good place to play. Trust me. This is a really bad place to play. You should not play here. Yes. Well, it depends on how fast it hits the creature, but it can, yes, Clino. Currently, you are in the obsidian pit known as the hospital. Your foot's mostly hurt. Crub the Grub tended to you himself and evaluated your wounds. Wow. The highest ranking official in the fortress is the one checking your wounds. And fire... there are no fire-breathing geese down in the caverns. There was another Forgotten Beast earlier. Yeah, they're both down in there, so there's this guy. But there's also this guy, which is one Forgotten Beast killer who killed the pile of goo, I think, who is a 3-eyed kinglet. But I would say this is more pressing. So, chat, I think I figured out how I can end extra dwarves. First off, we're just going to get rid of this trash, because we got a bunch of it up here. So the way we're going to get rid of this stuff is I'm going to go to the bodies thing, and temporarily, I'm going to say ride it. It'll take the minecart with him. Or actually, if I ride it this way, will it dump him? Let's see. So the minecart should stay where it is, and he should fall down the hole. Never mind. The statue debated me. Well, it was a valiant effort, I say. I have to put a wall piece here. I can't. The duck must go. It was a valiant. An attempt was made. Yeah, I hopefully you respect it, chat. We will do better. Trust me. I will move the duck to a more appropriate place. And I will place a statue made of bituminous blocks. And I will hope that you stay stationed up here. Should probably get rid of that. Yeah. Because that dwarf just went for a wee. All right, kiddo. You need to... Vamos! The thing is, statues act like bars where stuff can fly over it. I didn't really think about it not stopping the minecart. Kiddo. Get to it. Leave. Walk away. Go the way. Get tort. Audi. Migozis. No, the other dwarf who was in the minecart wrote it. And none of them kicked it. They were supposed to jump into it and go for a zippity-doo-dah down the thingy. I'm just waiting for this kid to leave, and then I can lock this door. We're in an ad break, so I won't actually do the thing, but I can set up the thing, though. Oh, there we go. Okay, so forbid this. Go here, add north, and then ride it. So what should happen is it should hit the wall and then dump him back that way. But we'll see. Although I need to take a pee, so I will be right back. Don't go anywhere unless you really want to. BRB.
Cheese for everyone!
Flobberdobberdoggadoggies?
Bring out your dead!
All right.
Over here, he has a sword.
Also a werebeast curse. So, for this cursed dwarf, I'm going to take you off duty and unforbid this. And you might want to look up, chat. Oh, geez, encoding's... Okay. You might want to look up if you're lurking. Could I get a moment of silence for the brave dwarf who is about to commit self-immolation as a sacrifice to the god of death? Or not. I tried. I really You're literally supposed to go wee. He's clearly not falling, nor for this. I'm trying to figure out how else I can do this. I mean, I could literally just, like, put a wall piece, like, right there. I could literally just do it that way. I'm pretty dedicated to this bit. So I'm just going to put a wall piece right here. I treasure my freedom. I hope you do. No, don't stand there. None of that. Buddy, we can't have that. I need you to not stand right there. Standing right there will... Okay, that's fine. We'll work with it. You can now finish building this. Okay, now that you've done that, I can go into you again. Okay, let's try this once more. Our brave dwarf is now about to commit self-immolation for the glory of the god and the safety of the fortress. Take two. Three, more like. All right, so I think we're gonna have to move this minecart to lead, probably. They'll go down like a lead minecart. Going forward. And also I'll need to remember to get rid of that so I don't just kill all my dwarves. That ring is mine, pretty much. Or thumbs up from Terminator. No wizards today? Nope. No, Tarn confirmed that that is just simply a progress update for what he's working on and not an update that's releasing today. I'll jam Mighty, or I'll jam Fry. And I'm overloading my encoding again. I hate this. Dear game, dear OBS, can you please stop not encoding properly? You're hurting me. It's making my soul ache. The goblins conquered the former kobold cave that your civ conquered? Oh, so you lost. I don't know, chat. It's not on your side. It is not on your side. All right, everybody, who can still hear me? Can you still hear me? I know, Diamond. I'm not gonna lie, but you saying that really doesn't fix or help anything in particular. All right, I'm calling it. I can't deal with this bullshit. I'm pissed off. So that's it for the stream, guys. I wanted to go longer today. I really did. I need to fix this shit. I can't keep sitting here and just like bashing my head against this fucked up bullshit of like everything breaking constantly. Like, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Normal time. You know where to find me. I'm gonna go take a sledgehammer to this PC until I fucking fix whatever this issue is. Apologies for the salt. It's not your fault. YouTube folks, I'm shutting you down first. Sorry, but goodbye.